coming off a fifth straight positive showing on the weekly performance for U.S. equities. We're looking at futures, little change so far this morning, but lots of news that could possibly help the market overall here this morning. We learned over the weekend that the House in the U.S. has passed President Joe Biden's $1 trillion infrastructure spending bill. So a lot of infrastructure-related companies trading in positive territory this morning. All of the charging station-type stocks higher. Caterpillar, Deere, all looking really, really strong so far this morning. We'll talk about those coming up here in a little bit. Tesla as well. Big move down here after the weekend Elon Musk poll voting in favor of him selling a portion of his stake in the company. We'll talk about Tesla, obviously, coming up. And earnings. The earnings parade continues this week. We'll get a number of big names again. PayPal, Palantir, Disney, all to come. Should be a exciting week. Once again, it's Monday, November 8th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at North American markets at this point. As I said, pretty flat for U.S. equities at this point. We're in positive territory for the Dow and the S&P, so there is that. TSX futures here in Toronto, 0.3 to the upside. Big move for cryptocurrencies right across the board. Ethereum, all-time high territory. Bitcoin back towards all-time high territory. Nice moves to kick things off in crypto land. To start off the new week, good morning, guys. It was lots of Bitcoins flying around. It was a little bit of a tight morning this morning. Sean had some PC issues that have been resolved, we hope, Sean. So all is well to kick off the morning here. And we should maybe send that computer straight through those gates, guys.
Yeah, maybe. The computer performing about as well as the Buffalo Bills performed over the weekend. So
9-6 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 9-6.
So this was honestly this was my.
I mean, Jordan Love scored one more point than a healthy Buffalo offense.
It was sad. My Michigan State Spartans got upset. The Buffalo Bills got upset. Our suicide pick of the Dallas Cowboys got upset. But you know what though? The infrastructure bill passed. So all of those stocks are up. So yay Caterpillar, yay U.S. Steel, yay Nucor, yay Cleveland Cliffs. Ethereum's at an all-time high. I bet the only negative thing is everybody knew Elon was going to sell these shares, right? He even said so publicly himself months ago that this was likely to be an occurrence. Dude posts a poll, and now we're coming down. A lot of people have been saying he would sell in Q4 anyway. So. Watch some Tesla here today, but in the U.S. is opening back up for travel, so travel names are even up. It wasn't a great for football weekend, but man, it's a good one for the markets, John.
Yeah, I mean, AMC also here with a nice move today, up 3. I've been talking about AMC going long for a while on this name. I mean, every single day we come in here and we're punching the long ticket on AMC, and then today again, I don't know how Eternals did. Again, I haven't been a little bit not myself this morning, but you can see here AMC with a nice move to the upside. We'll see if it can crack through this $44, up another 3%. And Microsoft, I mean, that just keeps on working. I mean, the market right now looks like it. Is this true flat right now? Is that about right? Yeah, it must be right on the NASDAQ as it's come back in. But Microsoft taking new all-time highs again today, 338 and change. I mean, we'll see where that goes. Well, 337 right now. But look, it's been a great time. I mean, it's great for the EV space. You talked about the infrastructure bill. We'll watch some Nucor. We'll watch some of these ag names. And we'll just continue to go, man. Clover's back near $8. We're excited. No sticky note today. That'll have to wait for tomorrow. But watch the next little while. We'll go over a bunch of levels, guys.
We'll also watch McAfee, guys. The news we talked about on Friday just coming through right now when we came on there at 8:30. An investor group led by Advent International acquiring McAfee for $26 per share, which has a total value of exactly what they were talking about on Friday, shockingly. $14 billion looks like this deal is worth, guys. So 26 per share for McAfee, 14. And it looks like, straight cash, guys.
You can't say homie, really?
You can't.
The line is straight cash homie, as per Randy Moss there. So McAfee, 26 cash. There we go.
Yeah, so nothing to do on this one. You can see it's a nice get here for, I guess, shareholders as you're down near 20, 25 bucks there. 25, pretty much these bottoms right there. It's going to come out at 26. I'm really surprised the deal's getting done at this price. Seems like it should have been higher. But McAfee there, where did we IPO? So it's going to be, it was a good one, man. IPO at 18. So shareholders get to hold this thing basically, actually looks like a year. So a year to the day almost, McAfee gets bought out here, comes to market last October. They're 18, 19 bucks. And then today you get to have it taken out at 26. So, hey, man, I'd take that, invest at 18, next year out at 26, and you have no choice. So traders no longer have to worry about this little bump up. To me, I would have thought the price would have been in here, like 28, 29, somewhere in this area, or just 27, 28. But hey, 26 cash gets everybody out of this stock. So congratulations to everybody that brought this name public. You know, good name, good solid run up. Obviously a little bit of a problem right there, but hey, now the market no longer has to worry about McAfee. Congratulations to everybody in this stock. I mean, I think that's a big win for most people. From 21 up to 26, that's good. The only thing is you'll be pissed off if you bought in here, but hey, what can you do? Your money's now tied up. So 26 bucks on McAfee. The only thing you can do now is if you believe the deal's solid and it's going to get approval, which looks like it is, then you could just go long into 26, and then you play the time value of money. So other than that, not much happening. It looks like interest rates will stay low, so this is probably a good deal. McAfee, congratulations.
Yeah, just checking NASDAQ halter, guys. No resumption time yet, but we'll keep an eye on the stock. Obviously halted still, but we'll keep an eye on when we'll get some quotes and start trading again for MCFE. Before we go any further, let's get over and say good morning to Miss B.
Good morning, team. Welcome to the new trading week. As usual, I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's get it started, guys. Lots to cover coming up this morning before we get to the open, including this trade desk. Wow, what a move for TTD. Big move up on earnings that were out in the pre-market here. Looks like right across the board. Once my window will load, there we go. Revenue beat, looks like per share beat. They even talked very positively about the forecast as well. So I initially looked at this and kind of shrugged it off because it wasn't doing any volume. But then that second leg up really took this thing to the moon.
Oh, it was absolutely the second wave. It was, you know, sometimes, you know, 8 o'clock hits and some more retail money comes in here. It takes out that 80 level and just absolutely off to the races. I mean, obviously, a strong move. Our charts aren't going to be split adjusted, so I'm not going to be able to. They did a 10-for-1 reverse, and I'm not going to be able to show you further back. Otherwise, that's what it looks like. So if you kind of look at what broke that 80 level, and then it took out this 83 as well, there is an obvious area at 90 that we're going to be concerned with. And a lot of times you'd think, okay, well, Trade Desk doesn't do a lot of pre-market vol. It's not going to be there, but it's already showing you a double top 85.5. Nice little range here holding 83. So it's set like it wants to make another break. One other note, one from last week, guys. I'm watching Cassava Sciences here. That has a chance to make another run at 100 bucks, although pulling back off right here. But Trade Desk, wow, monster beat. There is a lot to get to this week in terms of, you know, a couple of earnings and a couple of IPOs. And this one almost felt like when we were discussing this week, last week, we probably should have talked about Trade Desk a little bit here and what a monster run it's got in it. I think dipped by at about $80, looks like the first level. This 83 has been tested now twice, and it did break through, so I don't know if I'd be buying way up there. 22%, huge. It's as strong as Peloton is weak.
Yeah, I mean, the trade desk, we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, we're going to have that. I was saying that it was a high price stock. Obviously, the split happens there back in June, and now you're all the way to the downside. Look, I mean, when I saw Google, you know, what they've been doing lately, and I talked about the ad revenue side of things, the digital revenues, the ads, the way that Trade Desk operates. This should have been talked about a little bit more. We did see that last week with Google hitting all-time highs, so no surprise that this once again is going to basically do the same thing here. The Trade Desk continues to work and continues to work higher. So I don't know, like we just talked about, there's going to be really no levels. Anything back into here, 82 I think is a nice one. We topped out at 82 just not too long ago. This is what, October 19th or so, back in here. So we topped out there at 82 bucks. Today you take it out. So probably fade back in a little bit here. That was a big move. So if you can settle around here, you know, between 80 and 82, I think is a good buy here for the Trade Desk. I like the name. I like the space. Cloud, software, advertising, everything. It makes a lot of sense here. A lot of companies now, you know, travel, they use the cloud for advertising, right? And I mean, a lot of people coming back into travel space now, leisure activities, getting out there. So this name will continue to work. You should have already bought it. If not, I don't even think it's too late.
Just seeing infrastructure and energy alternatives, which is IEAW popping up there, guys, on a little bit of volume. So I guess if you have infrastructure right in your name this morning, it's probably a good thing after the weekend. I want to talk about this Live Nation because a lot of people also discussing this tragic news over the weekend out of Texas. Number of deaths, unfortunately, at a Travis Scott concert in Texas. LYV under pressure here. This is, remember, coming off earnings, Thursday aftermarket, and then Friday had a big move to the upside. We're down here this morning. It is pretty active once again for Live Nation. Sad story, guys, over the weekend.
Yeah, it is. And look, it's unfortunate. It's not the first time this kind of thing's happened at a concert. I'm sure certainly it won't be the last. And look, we're here to talk the market. So you're going to mention that it is down 3%. They were named, I believe they were named immediately on a lawsuit, which is going to be the case. And certainly, last week we were talking about how this was breaking out and the big move off of earnings, which I think a lot of it still holds true, right? Like if we're just going to start analyzing, where the stock is going, I mean, ultimately, with the earnings and with the reopen, I mean, even today with travel restrictions lifted in the U.S., so international travel coming back, those are all positive signs overall. Now, you might run into some selling today because of this news, but realistically, you had all kinds of support at this 100, 105 mark. So if things got out of hand, it would seem like an interesting buying opportunity for them. Who knows how this is going to play out? Obviously, it's a tragedy for all the families involved. I think the stock's likely to rebound at some point. It's just a matter of, where do you put in a bottom today? There's not a lot of volume going into this. I think there's certainly eyeballs all over the place elsewhere. So it might hesitate to catch a bid because there's likely to be buyers in a host of other places today. Either way, if it falls too far, I think there's going to be a chance to pick that one up. It's a tragic thing all around, obviously, but the stock had been performing so well going into this.
Yeah, if this is an opportunity to buy it on the downside, I think you do that no matter what. I mean, you know what? The thing, it's sad. It's a New York stock. It's sad, but at the same time, there was only 50,000 people at this concert when the capacity was 200,000. So, I mean, it could have been infinitely worse. Apparently, some maniac was running around injecting people with substance, which is what started this whole thing. So it's crazy. I don't think Live Nation will wind up having to suffer anything from this, but you get to the downside right now, 115, 116. I think you buy this on any weakness. Look, the world's opening back up, right? Concerts, people can't wait. I know I can't wait to go to some concerts as well, and it should be a fun time. So let's just, buy Live Nation on any dips. I think down 3% makes sense today. You could put this one in your portfolio. It's going to be a longer term play anyways, so it's worth it.
To Walmart. Well, let's not actually go to Walmart, but look, there's no one driving that truck, guys. Gatik, this company in California, teaming up with Walmart, or they have teamed up with Walmart in the past. They're now achieving, guys, fully autonomous deliveries in this normal-looking cube truck. Look, no driver, no hands, and no driver. So that's a first, apparently, in the industry. So an interesting look here for Walmart. Not really doing anything, but this is a cool story.
No, it's certainly a cool story. It's something that they've been developing for some time, and they're not going to be the only ones in this game. We know autonomous driving is a huge deal across the board for a lot of. It's not just about like your Walmarts and your Amazons. It's not just about. I think it's going to be fantastic for Uber one day, certainly, and this is going to be a bit of the future. Now, it is worth sort of considering here that Amazon. Oh, sorry, Amazon. I want to say Amazon because I'm thinking Amazon, the brand this week. But anyways, Walmart here has been sort of rounding out and consolidating for a potential break at this lower high. It's been a good performing stock, which slowed down. And I guess in the euphoria of all of the tech has gotten a little bit of a slowdown here. And I kind of feel like it might get to the wayside a bit. But it's been a pretty good performer. I like the way this is set up. I mean, the market, when you think about the reopen, when you think about the U.S. consumer and the confidence that everyone seems to have in the economy, then you got to feel like Walmart's going to be one of those safer names that can participate in some of these moves. Now, I don't think this is necessarily a story that's going to move the needle today, if only because they've been doing it for a while. It wasn't something that got a ton of press. and ultimately it would have to scale up to make a huge material impact. But certainly it's a fantastic step for them. I don't know if it's the catalyst to get it there. Maybe when the rotation comes maybe out of some tech more, you'll get like another bump here through that 152, and then we can get back to some of those highs. I like Walmart, I own Walmart, but I'm not sure we're gonna get the bump we'd like to see with a cool headline like that. One thing people don't talk about with autonomous driving enough is simply that is going to be a game changer. People talk about the environment, that's gonna be a game changer for the environment, because more efficiency on the roads is good for everybody. And then, you know what? We're going to be talking a lot EV this week anyways, so it might not be this, but certainly it's going to be some Lucid, some Rivian. I know Fisker's on the move, but there's a heck of a lot to talk about, and I think that's where the eyeballs are going to be instead of Walmart today. Cool story, probably not going to have it break out yet.
Yeah, Fisker back to 20, man. We are definitely we are printing today. Look, we knew the. And I have Nucor up here. We knew the infrastructure bill was just going to be a matter of time. Finally, it looks like, and we'll get to more of this. I mean, it's only 8:45. I'm working right now on the sticky note right here. But Nucor, just what a great buy. That was at 95. We talked about that on the show. Tier getting a bump up to Austin if you're on right now. I know you've been making this play with me as well. Nucor almost back to highs, 120, 125. Maybe worse getting some out there, but very, very nice entry down here at 95 for Nucor, making moves to the upside. We are going to talk about, you just mentioned infrastructure, and or I mentioned infrastructure. You mentioned EVs there. I like also, I'm writing it on the list right now. F-Cell, fuel cell will be on this list, breaking through 950 today, about to happen. We're about to get long right now, so there's a few different things happening right now. But yeah, big time moves happening all over the place. The market, it's only up 1.01, but there's a lot of names here. If you're in the right space today, fuel cell, you just mentioned Fisker as well. Like, so super happy with the way this one's trading today. Up to 950 right here in the pre-market. That's the high, 950, 1950. A beautiful move. Just was looking at F-Cell there, 950. 1950 here. Look at that move for Fisker, man. They came out last week and reported, didn't like it, didn't sell anything, should have bought more. Now you're taking out some of the tops there. So this is going to be a very, very exciting day. I see people talking about BBIG. We will. Look, man, I mean, I'm just starting this. If you want to go to our watch list, maybe we should do that one more time. Watch list, I don't have it up on here, but watchlist.tradertv.live. Unless it's, do I have the number? No, I don't have those numbers up here. But definitely get that, watchlist.tradertv.live. All these names on here, including Chinese names. We have to get to Tesla, Lucid, some crypto stocks, infra stocks. We've already talked about McAfee's on the list too. Peloton's on the list. There's a bunch on there, guys. So watchlist.tradertv.live, and sticky note hopefully is coming.
Yeah, we'll jump into the watch list here. A lot of people talking about Vinco Ventures, as you mentioned there, Sean. Some executive changes. I mean, remember, there's a crypto tie to Vinco Ventures as well. But this Brent Vroman, appointed Chief Financial Officer of Cryptide. Some other executive changes here for BBIG. So there was a spike early on this morning when that first came out. We've kind of come back, though. Trying to hold $5 here for BBIG.
Yeah, it's spiked, and you're going to see this time and time again with these small caps. They're going to spike right up to like 550. Previous resistance was 555. I mean, look at that double top on the chart there at 555. So it gets to that 550. The good sign is you're consolidating here off that 5, setting you up for a potential secondary break. But I mean, as I looked over at the impressive volume of the trade desk and some other places, you know, this needs to get off the old schneid here. This is absolutely nothing in terms of volume. So the gap up is nice, but I mean, if you're going to take this breaking back up to the high like a 515, supporting 5 even, you want to see the volume kick up in the next 45 minutes to the open. And yes, it is 40 to 45 minutes to the open. For those of you who are unaware of the time change,
what?
Yes, it's 8:48 Eastern. We do daily savings time, so our clocks went back. A lot of people in the chat have been like, "Why isn't the market open?"
Why are people like that?
Well, that's why. So,
like, I mean, I guess if you worked and you weren't certain of what day it was, but today is Monday. We've already done the daylight savings time, so I think they're gonna. I mean, I guess there's talk about getting rid of that.
Well,
so I think
they are getting, aren't they?
Was this the last year for daylight savings time? I thought there was some talk about that. So,
I thought.
We'll wait to see. Yeah, Rivian's going to be really super exciting. Ford's coming, up to the upside with that Rivian news. So is Amazon. We're going to have Fisker talk today. We're going to have Lucid talk today. Lottery.com, LTRY keeps on going to the upside as well. McAfee on a nice little buyout there. So I think there's a lot of foreigners here. That's why. Okay, Michael Travis. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I if you're not North American based, then that move would have happened for you already. So that's good. Yeah, we love the trade desk as well. PPSI, yeah, look, we're going to get to a lot of these. So, but right now we have the upgrades and downgrades, and my PayPal's on the wrong side again.
Remember, lottery, guys, is crypto related as well. Remember, I think the Ontario government said if New York State also agreed to do it at the same time, then we would go ahead with it. But I don't think so. Airbnb, top of the list here. Canada Goose, good report if you remember last week for Goose. Nicola on here. Jeffries thinks if Elon Musk sells 10% of his stake, should be $1,400. Canopy back on the downside. Yeah, there's PayPal. And D-Nut to the downside today.
Yeah. Look, I think the same thing about Tesla there. I was talking about this earlier, that I think that, I'm just looking at this Peloton chart. I don't know we're going to have to watch out for $50 on that one. So we're already long F-Cell, guys. Just if you see that on the, so you just see that there. We just ticked into F-Cell there. So Tesla's a very interesting stock because obviously we talked about them earlier. It's the #1 stock on our watch list here today. And I mean, it's such an amazing story, obviously, Tesla to the upside here. You get lots of movement. We've had the last couple days have been red days here, up to 1,200. Now you come down at 1,250. Now you come down to 1,167. And I mean, look, whether or not he's going to sell them or not, I was saying that in 1998, Bill Gates held 20% of Microsoft. That would be worth $700 billion right now. But he divested into other companies, did some, I don't know, whatever. He diversified, I guess, and now only owns 1.3%. But that's a huge mistake. His earnings, his net worth would be almost double if he had just held on to Microsoft. So look, if the people want Elon to sell because of tax reasons, like he's sitting on this huge balloon and they want him to pay some tax, so he's like, fine, he'll sell 10% of that. But is that really what we want? I mean, if all the people are holding Tesla stock and this thing's down 5%, well, most of us just took a 5% haircut in any of our portfolios as far as Tesla's concerned. I think any dip down is healthy. Let's let the man sell. Let's let him do whatever he has to do here. I don't think eventually it's not going to affect the stock. Those shares are just going to get eaten up by me, by Neil, by other investors out there, by other hedge funds, by Miss Wood. He could just, I feel like he could just pick up the phone and do Valeria might buy some Tesla there. So, I think he could just pick up the phone and find numerous buyers of his, however many billions of shares, it's not that many, but millions of shares that he wants to sell here of Tesla. So for me, this is a buying opportunity. We'll see where it goes. I agree with whoever upgraded that based on this news. I think the more that he sells, the more it goes into our hands, and we're all holders anyways, right? So I think that's this is not a negative story.
This is why they don't have to pay for advertising for Tesla, man.
Yep.
Everybody knew he was selling these shares. He has vesting options, okay? He needs the cash. It was like, this has been talked about multiple times here. So people have been predicting fourth quarter for this. I mean, there's certainly read a few articles saying this was certainly going to happen in the fourth quarter for him. So what does he do? He turns it into hey, should I do this? Look at me, I want to pay my taxes. I'm being good. Fantastic. I think it's a genius move by him. It has everybody talking about it. It gets Tesla in the news for sure when he was going to possibly be selling these shares anyways. And what? So he sells 1 or 2 million shares, 1 or 2 million total shares. Probably not a huge drop in the bucket. Now, obviously, given how much he does hold, and that over time he's likely to continue to sell more in the future, likely for the same reasons over the next couple of years, or certainly in the next couple of quarters, you might get these healthy pullbacks. I just personally think it was probably pulling back anyways. I mean, I said ring the register on some if you're swinging for it at 12, when it bounced off that 1250 level. So it kind of feels healthy to me. I think there's going to be dip buying opportunities. The first one that I think we test today is going to be like the 1110. Well, I mean, technically 1140 is right here, right there. I think a deeper one, if people start panicking, would be that 1110 to 1115 area. So you spot those two levels. I think those are the best two places to buy. You also have to, I mean, I'm going to be in that mode where there's going to be opportunities as a day trader to be shorting the stock. Certainly when it sets up like this, if you got a pop, you're thinking that lower high, and I'd probably target, you look at this, it's about, I mean, right here about like 1200 to about 1220 or so before you even think about that 1250. So if it were to rebound that much, I would think that there would be some pressure on it, because on any pop, there's going to be some people that are going to want to ring the register that haven't already, looking for a chance to buy the dip when these shares get unloaded.
All right, a couple of things, guys. McAfee, 9:05 quotes, 9:10 resumption. So we can look at how to maybe approach trading that. It's interesting. I was just looking at what happened on Friday. Remember, 26 all cash, which I'm not saying, but just saying, is exactly where it stopped on that move up on Friday before this was confirmed. We haven't even talked about this Regeneron news. Remember on Friday we had that Pfizer pill, their version of the COVID-19 treatment. Regeneron out with really good data this morning with an antibody treatment as well.
Yeah, I think theirs was like 82% effective, 82% effectiveness there. Now, obviously, you saw what happened to Pfizer's stock. There it is, Regeneron. Like and again, you saw what happened to Pfizer's stock. It was an absolutely boon. And then what happened to Merck is Merck got under pressure a little bit. I think because, I'm going to make sort of a few assumptions here, because this one wasn't nearly as effective as the Pfizer pill, you're not getting as gigantic of a bump in this particular case. So, that could be the reason you're only up like at 2%. It was under some pressure already. It doesn't appear like there's going to be heavy trading in Regeneron. What this is, I think, is another positive for the whole reopen and the overall economy, right? So I think this just gives an extra boost to the travel names, which are strong today with the U.S. borders opening back up. I think that's what you're looking for a little bit more here. And once again, like that entire theme is part of what continues to drive something like a Peloton to the downside, which they missed. And then on top of that, everyone's thinking reopen, and everyone's talking about those types of names and travel names getting out there. Airbnb got the upgrade; it's breaking out there. So Regeneron not really moving on this news. I think that's because it's seen as not as fantastic or unbelievable as the Pfizer drug.
Yeah, I mean, the Pfizer, we did see them make some. I'm still watching Tesla here. I'm working on the sticky note for you. I'll be having that out in just a second. Tesla up to 48 and Pfizer up to 48 and change. We saw them dip to 49.50 or so, or rip to 49.50 or so on that news over Friday. Big movements there. Our ticks are all messed up because they're an hour off. So if you see like, oh, how did I get long at this magical price that didn't exist? Well, it didn't exist at that time. It was down here is where we got long. So you got to bump them by an hour. But okay, let's just look at a 20-minute chart here quickly for Pfizer. Any dip buys down into 47 is going to be huge again. I still think that pill probably does get approval everywhere. We talked about it being approved in the UK. So some nice little dip buy opportunities there on Friday for you on Pfizer before ripping back up. We basically protected this 47.50. So we'll see if that can come into play one more time. Regeneron, we like it. It's an expensive stock, hard to day trade. Some of the Chinese educational names, that's also on our watch list. Back up, but not up that much. Only 7%. Of course, this story started way back in the day there when, the President Xi, I guess, and everybody over there in China basically, okay, now my 1 minute chart won't load on that one. So we'll just, keep on looking here for EDU. Where's the daily chart? Hopefully that can load. And we'll just show you some of the destruction that happened. So, we were sort of cruising here, no problem. I mean, it was coming to the downside, but then we get that story back in the summertime where they're going to maybe, think about making it public funding instead of private funding here for the Chinese education names, and boom, right to the downside. Obviously, if you can't make money, you can't make money. So now we'll have to see. It still needs to take out this 250. So EDU for me is right there. That's why I want to bring up the daily chart. If we're going to get going, we talked about 250 before. There's 250 right there. We'll see if we can take it out. We didn't get as high as 250 on this news yet today. So EDU still a play here. Touched out 240, starting to come back in, but some of these Chinese names, we'll get to them. But I'm only long FCell right now, which is 13 cents in the money. Probably take out a piece right now and then see where we go from here. But so far, so good on FCell.
Here's another one we can add to that infrastructure list. Pioneer Power Solutions, little tiny electrical equipment maker. This is 28 million market cap, guys. 3.8 million free float. And they announced this morning after this infrastructure news that, hey, they're going to make an EV charging solution as well. So PPSI, about 14 million or so shares already this morning, going absolutely crazy. So we'll have a look at PPSI as well. Let's right now get into the watch list. Yeah, this week brought to you by MarketScreener.com. Check out MarketScreener.com. They have a lot of focus over in European markets, so a lot of great content on there from the European side of things. You can grab the watch list with that QR code. Miss B will also help you out in the chat if you need that link. Let's get into Tesla here. Obviously, everyone is well aware of the weekend Twitter poll, I guess, from Elon Musk that came up about 58% on the yes side, that 3.8 million people responded to that I read, think he should sell 10%, guys.
Well, I mean, a friend of mine, when I was chatting about this, and look, this had everybody talking, so great for them, like I said there, to get the advertising, the free advertising that Elon can pull off. But a friend of mine was basically saying that he joked they were likely bots on standby in case Yes didn't win, because obviously he knew that Yes was going to win and probably wanted Yes to win. So like I said, this was going to happen almost certainly anyways. Elon doesn't take a salary, so he's getting those options, and when they vest, it's just a huge tax bill that has to get paid, and he's going to raise that money by selling shares, right? So it's not the first time, it's not the last time this is going to happen either. We talked a little bit about Tesla potentially being weak because of that. It's trying to catch a bit of a bid here, which you can see, and I think we have some levels to work off of. 1140 certainly has been a decent support level, and then 1110 to 1115 I like a heck of a lot better for some real support here. I just like the fact that we powered into that. The biggest dip that got us to that 1200 actually came off that 11 to 1115 area, so I'm looking for that as a bit of a jump point. If we can get down that low, will I be looking to short the stock if we get back close to that 1200 range? I think that's a bit of a rollover short there. And just thinking along the lines of, there are some people that are going to want to take some profit on Tesla, knowing that some fourth quarter selling is coming from Elon Musk. And it's enough shares that you can cause a pullback. And if people were looking to get money out, you mean on top of that, you have Lucid, which is popping to the upside. You have Rivian, which is coming this week. So you have these other places where people might want to get exposure. You have all these infrastructure names when it comes to charging and EVs. You have the lithium names going strongly. So there's all kinds of places that I can see people ringing the register on Tesla and then throwing into some other names to diversify a little bit possibly, and maybe buy some Tesla back if it does dip. So I'm willing to play that short side if it pops up here. I'm definitely looking to buy at 1115. 1140 will be a little bit tighter, because that is more likely to actually happen near the open, where if you catch that falling sword too soon, sometimes you want it to bounce first instead of just jumping in front of it.
Yeah, we've been talking. I mean, I'm just long FSL right here. We did take a little piece out there, so we'll rain down a little bit of cash there on FSL 950 in, out, some 966 there. And now we'll wait to see some more upside movement. But I agree wholeheartedly here. It's on. I just got the sticky note out, so you guys can see that. I think we buy this thing at 1140 here today. We'll see if it dips back down into that area. We've talked about this a few times now on the show already. So here it is, 1140 right into here. Dip down. I mean, it only goes back one day. I mean, this isn't, hopefully it's not going to be rocket science here. Actually, it goes back a couple days, actually, sorry, into 1150. So this is going to be Friday, and then you have here Thursday, and then bang. Right last week, we basically bounced around 1150, 1140 a bunch of times. So we'll see it's coming in right now. It's coming in faster than we maybe thought, or I thought anyways, here into that. I think down 5% makes sense. You could get a little bit lower even on open if we do get some mass sellings. So I think we'll stick a bid here around 1140, a little bit higher than that, obviously, see if we can pick something up on the dirt cheap, and then we'll go from there. But 1140 is going to be a spot where I'm going to try to dig into the long, guys.
All right, let's bring in Arun here, and we'll check out the overall market for a Monday. We are trying to get back into positive territory here. I mean, 0.2 for the S&P, Arun. What do we need to know today?
Yeah, overall, the numbers on the board, I mean, they're relatively flat, but the movement's kind of setting up for a decent upside move. I saw this late in the session. After that nice little sell-off early in the day on Friday, you did get a nice little bounce back above 90. That kind of activated some support. And it seems like anything below 90 in the overnight has been supported fairly well. So here we are sitting just underneath 4,700. In terms of going long, that's a direction I'm going to be looking for now. But I'm not a fan of buying up these prices, because I do have 47.15 marked up top. So that could provide some resistance once we get into the 47.05 area. We did see some activity early in the day on Friday when we were up there. So there could be a resistance point up there. So 47.15 up top. I would prefer, though, if we can get back down around or even below this 46.90 area, to use that as a support area to kind of grab along. 46.65 is the level I've got marked below. So 46.65 down below, 47.15 up top. And I am looking for a long just underneath 46.90. Apart from that, anything in between is going to be hard to trade. Risk has to be controlled. It's a wider range. Markets are flat for now. I'm not a fan of stepping in at these prices, but you also have to keep in mind, we do have the Fed. There's a speech coming from the Fed, I believe, at 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So if people were to kind of digest some news or some key words out of that and make some expectations for the next meeting, that could be something that could move the markets. But for now, though, at these prices, I have no interest. But maybe if we can fall maybe 10, 15 points, there could be a long down there.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's go on to Lucid Motors, or Lucid Group, I should say. LCID back in positive territory, or trying at least to have another positive day. What a move we saw on Friday, 16% to the upside on Friday. There's been all kinds of positive analyst notes. There's been upgrades. There's been price target increases. There's been manufacturing updates. There's been deliveries, guys. Not much negativity surrounding Lucid.
Definitely not much negativity. Not much negativity in the movement of the stock either, outside of that $40 level, which had some decent pullbacks, and then you finally got that break on Friday. It came in sort of thinking, okay, well, this week, if this thing makes a run at 50, I think that's where, if you got to step in front of the freight train, maybe that's going to be it. I mean, 45 could potentially be that as well. Clearly, anytime you have a level like this, which was such a sharp resistance point, I mean, multiple fail breaks at 40 even before finally going, I'm going to think there's going to be some buyers in case Lucid does dip here. And last week I was sort of saying if you got some of the EV names moving one way, they could go in concert. But I would anticipate there's a chance that if Tesla shows some weakness, that doesn't have to bleed over to something like Lucid. What I would watch out for is when we get that Rivian IPO, because I would anticipate, like on that day, if you start seeing the bid pop up on Rivian and indicative prices higher and higher, and then it finally opens up and it looks strong, you might see some selling in something like a Lucid on that day. So certainly something to watch out for. I thought there'd be a potential a breakout today at like a 42.5. That happened way too early in the morning, right after 7 o'clock. So, I'm kind of looking at this 42.5. If it can find consolidation, there's a bit of a dip point. I think 45 is your first resistance point, only because it's psychological. And then obviously that 50 level. Decent chance at some point this is going to have a bigger pullback. I know for sure I'm thinking of it on the Rivian day. And today, I don't like the long unless it's going to be off of that 42.50. I'm not a huge fan of the 44.20 breakout here. It's just a little bit too tight to that 45 even. So if I got to go long here, I'd rather be catching a dip in Lucid. And one more just before we go on. I know Brendan mentioned this PPSI. We didn't really get to it, but quick little double top at 650. This is not a level on the daily chart. I was looking back. There's really nothing on this thing unless it gets up to, probably call it like 7 to 725, 750 maybe even. Those are the levels that I want to be watching here on that PPSI. But it is consolidating for another push higher. And even if it takes out the 650, there's some room to those levels on the daily. Biggest mover I can find this morning, up 90%. 85.
Yeah, and we're going to look here at the same thing. You just talked about Lucid there. We put it on our sticky note as sticky note is now out. I just said, wow, great month for Lucid. I mean, needless to say here, whoa, hello there. We don't need all those charts or all those lines. You can see here a 1 minute chart, big time movement upside. I think we'll test it here. I'm going to wait to see if 41.40 breaks on the downside here, 41.50 more exactly. So let's see if we can get some longs into here. I do have some bids, 42 and change, and then we'll protect it down here. If we break through 41.40, then we'll get out. Now that I'm noticing this, it's more about a 41 break than a 41.40 break, which is what I put in there, so we'll cancel that. But we do have some longs ready to go here for Lucid. A 20-minute chart. It's not going to give us that much. Just if you go back into here, this is 40.50. So again, we'll lose on the first long. If it doesn't want to hold 41, then we'll drop it, and then we'll see about this 39 40 area. So we don't want to leave Lucid alone today. We definitely want to be on there. We're already long FSL. I like Lucid for the break. And talking about a good month here. Here's the one daily chart here for you guys on Lucid. It's just been a monster here. October basically starts, October starts here, but $24 up to 43. So you're basically getting a double there in under 3 weeks. So I love that trade. 22 up to 44 right there, a monster move. And this is the same thing I expect for Fisker. So if you think that, Lucid's going up here, based on deliveries, based on that they've produced a few cars now, some showrooms open. I think Fisker also gets a very, very similar bump. Obviously, it's already up to 20 bucks, but Lucid right here, a good move. I'm gonna take a long back to 42 if we're lucky enough to get it. So that's where my orders are sitting, just like Tesla, 11.42. We're gonna wait for Lucid for 42, just drop the 11.
Let's go on to some of these Chinese education stocks. A lot of people talking about these, so we'll cover TAL, EDU. There's that GOTU as well. A lot of these guys looking like this right now. We had the initial move up and then have come basically all the way back, or at least a portion. Still 8% here from TAL. The Wall Street Journal reporting that Chinese regulator is going to issue licenses that will allow some of these companies to get back to work and get back to doing what they normally do.
Look, we already showed Sean showed the chart. I think of EDU, which is what I was looking at as well. And breaking out of a level here, I guess. Break
yourself.
Trying to at 260. When you have news like this, and then which you think this is going to get you some kind of a bounce here, which it obviously did, and then it gets sold right back into previous, I suppose, resistance levels at 220 here, down to 215. Not the best sign in the world. So it looks like this is being almost entirely discounted right away on EDU. There's a couple of these names, so whether it's, GoTo's New York stock. Look, and you can sort of pick your poison as to which one you want to look at. EDU is what I traded the last time. GoTo is essentially doing almost the same thing here for those of you that are watching it. Maybe a little bit, a tiny bit stronger, if you want to talk about the pullback, but it's just a sharp fall. And again, at least in GoTo's case, holding above the previous resistance point, I suppose, at 328. So if you were looking to catch a bottom and thinking it's got a secondary push when the market opens and digests this news, okay, well, this one actually gives you that quarter floor on GoTo, but it kind of indicates to me that these are, if they run back to those highs, those are to be faded because the sell has already come in. No one wants to hold up the bid on this news, and that's the risk that some of these Chinese names are under. So I think any of these ones, I'd short the pops into the highs, at least of today. In GoTo's case, that's about a 4 to a 420 because, of course, why not? But we'll have a quick look, see, they're going to be on the radar, and you can't. It's almost unavoidable. So we're certainly going to be watching them. But anytime I see this kind of a sharp pullback, if I'm not short, I'm not sitting here trying to short the bottom, and I'm not just jumping into the random long, knowing how weak these have all been. By the way, that PPSI just made another run at the high there. So that 650 top, just come on, load. Just that 650 top looks like it's come in one more time and then rejected. So you're going to get a third, maybe even fourth attempt at this high of the day. If it holds the higher bid here, holds like $6, it's definitely setting up for a 650 break at the open. I don't really know if this one's gonna be a halt case because the liquidity looks pretty good, but this one has all the strength in the world if it holds 6 for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Was just responding there. I actually had to log in to make sure that I got some shortable shares and everything as well. So yeah, Omar, I see you there. We will probably get to Peloton at some point today. Those Chinese education names, the only one I like is EDU. Let me call up the imbalance locator quickly. I don't even really want to trust any of these names right now, but we can. EDU is right there, so that's why. You got CCL as well, making some moves to the upside. It's only 9:13. Wow, we have lots of time still to go through all this, but we can save. Let's save Peloton because we will get to that. Again, EDU. So thank you for asking that in the chat there, Omar. We will get to that. Of course, Omar, a member as well. Neil just talked about a lot of these. So you're going to have some big sizes here. Already done 41 million shares. So you're going to be doing a lot of volume. I think the name of the game is going to be scalping through here. You could take pennies instead of dollars, obviously. And I don't think you need to be too greedy with any of your trades. I think you could just take more shares. Obviously, I'm looking for a 250 break. I don't think that happens. That's right down here on the daily chart. So you could break through 250. I think we like that one. But again, coming back in a little bit here. Hey, it's just a report. I remember when they said, oh, maybe we're going to take DD back private. Oops, DIDI back private, right? I mean, and then that spiked the stock for a bit there when there was some talk. This is still EDU. Come on, charts. You know, when that was a talk, you could see right here. I think it was display right here where they talked about, hey, you know, maybe we'll take this private. And people were like, oh, we're going to get our money back. But then all of a sudden, that went from $10 right back to where we were again. So hey, you know, if we're going to trade EDU and some of these Chinese names, I think you more got to look at them as a longer term play now and just hope that eventually it all works out. There's a nice base here at $2. You could fade back in. I think along with better news is in and around here. 210, 212, something like that. Not on the watch list. We'll wait for EDU. We're also trying to watch out for FCell here. Its high of the day is 69. We just took a piece off there at 65 or 66 off of a 950 break. Yeah, right there, 65 or 66, whatever it was. So right now, FCell is really the only trade that I have on my mind, but we are also looking for a lot more. So Canada Goose up to $60 again. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, coming off Friday's move. Nice move for Goose. Coming off a nice move, speaking of Bitcoin, guys, bit of a pullback there after the late night move to almost new highs yesterday. So we have crypto stocks back on the watch, all the usual suspects there. However, they're not really doing anything right now. So want to move on to infrastructure. Just keep in mind, obviously worth watching Coinbase, Hut 8, all the usual suspects, as I mentioned. Caterpillar, 6% at one point here in the pre-market following this news over the weekend. Again, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill being passed by the House late on Friday, in fact, and will be presented to President Biden for his signature to become law. So, I mean, there's a lot of names here that we can, a lot of names in a lot of ways we can kind of go. You can talk about steel. You can talk about, you know, equipment manufacturers like Caterpillar, like Deere, DE, up sharply as well. FCell, as Sean was saying, there's Blink, ChargePoint, lots of different ways we can look at this. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to get to, and I think if you're thinking in the long term, I mean, Caterpillar has been great for a while. I like this as one of the plays for this eventual moment that we're going to get, and it should continue to perform probably well for the next couple of years here, and maybe you get back to those highs. Now, it's in the midst of breaking out like a 216, getting to like a 225. I don't know if it's going to be the biggest mover today. Like I look at a Cliff, which is also up 5% today. Yeah, there we go. It has this like 24 area, which has a potential break, and I look at this 23.5. So, you know, 23.50. It's been support the entire time. It's pulling back into this range. I'm absolutely loving what this could potentially do on a break of 24 here. But you know, first things first. At the open, you'd like to see if we get a bit of a dip. First of all, I'd like to see it break that, hold that 23.50. If it does not, I'm looking square at this level here, 23, about 15 or so, 23.10. That was, I guess, the ceiling for the second half of the week, last week, and I think certainly that can be put in as the floor. I'm likely to trade Cliff today. I mean, U.S. Steel, you could probably look at the same way. I love both and own both these names, but at the end of the day, you got to pick one to trade. I'm looking at Cliff, 23.15 or so on a dip buy. Sets up for a 24 break. This is, I mean, the reason I'm not looking at the high of the day here is I just really go back to the first, which is on Monday, when it dipped down, and then you had, you know, that was your weekly resistance at 24. That ended up being the high. So I'm looking 24 break, but kind of feels like we could be looking at a 23.15 dip buy instead as it starts to pull back a little bit here. And that PPSI just continues back and forth, back and forth. That 650 break could come before the open the way this is going. Yeah, remember tiny little float on that one, about 3 million shares guy for PPSI. Worth noting, guys, McAfee did reopen here. It's not really doing a lot, kind of just chopping around 25.50. You want to, Neil, maybe have a look at MCFE? Yeah, actually, you know what? As we're talking about that, I did miss out on the McAfee reopen. So, look, there is, I believe it was like 10 to 12 cents worth of quarterly dividend there. So it's not it's not really doing any volume. It's not impossible that it can trade a little higher than you might expect, a little closer to that 26 cash value. I don't know exactly when this thing is going to close. You could be looking,
It'd be tight to say it would close in 1 quarter, but I'm not sure there's going to be a ton of regulatory hurdles like you would have with some of the bigger deals. So I would anticipate if you're not willing to spread trade, rebate trade, whatever you want to call it, you're going to likely want to stay away from this one. I doubt it breaks that 26 price, but like I said, with a dividend, always a decent chance you could trade a little bit closer to it. I'd likely fade that 26 level on any huge dips. I mean, I'd definitely be a buyer if it got to like 25. I just can't see many barriers with this one. They're being acquired by an inside shareholder, right? So, a lot of times I think these ones stand a decent chance of going through. So a lot of the risk associated with it doesn't feel like it's going to be there, but it might not be a day trade for most people.
Yeah, I was just looking at this AMC here because I think you might have mentioned this, Brendan, but news about them with Disney now. They're going to bring, it looks like, 4 movies back to the big screen here on Ford AMC with Disney. Look, I'm really, really nervous about Disney coming into this report, man. I think I'm not super happy with I mean, we're up to 178.50. It's been a great move here for Disney. I'm like very, very, I don't want to say I'm close to ringing the register on this one because, look, I mean, I'm long sub 100. So for this name to be up here, it doesn't really matter where it came from. It's where do I think it's going, right? I mean, and again, shout out to you, Daryl, and some of you other people that were here buying during some of these dips. And it based out here at 80, 85. Like we were right in here when this kept basing out down here. We were loading this up. So great move to the upside. It's like Walmart, right? Like my first and only ever buy was at $100. So what do I do now that it's at 150? So it's right here with Disney. I just think like you're getting near some of these tops. Disney's going to be reporting this week. So I'm going to look for this name to fade a little bit of this, up 1.5%. But the news was on AMC, and I didn't really see too much movement here on AMC on the 1-minute chart for this news. It was about 6 minutes ago, so it must not be that big of a deal. I guess they're just going to be throwing out or throwing back in a few of the older movies, I guess. I'm not really sure, but from November 12th to the 14th. So that's like right now. So this weekend, AMC is going to be putting out some more of Disney movies, which may get people more butts in seats, more popcorn, more sales. So let's watch AMC today through 43. I actually like that trade.
See that headline come through, guys, but Sean was saying there no real reaction. I want to mention this lottery.com because a lot of people talking about LTRY again. If you remember on Friday, this happened. Huge move from 12.5 to almost 18, 1775-ish. We're kind of in this range, holding some key levels, but they came out this morning saying they've commenced the development of a blockchain gaming platform for lottery.com.
Yeah, I kind of thought this would move a little more on that headline there, Brendan. So, to see it only do 150,000 volume, very disappointing. And you can see basically non-existent price action in the pre-market here. This is why we came in thinking it would be interesting, after what happened on Friday, big mover. And I think we talked about it in the closing show. So I'm looking, 1750 would have obviously stood out. Look, when you have volume this low in the pre-market, sometimes you just want to throw out some of these things that have happened here and all these crazy wicks and dark pools. I think you could lean into thinking 1650. Certainly the afternoon bottom. If volume picks up, that's a level there, so that gives you a bit of a clean look into 1750. That would have been a 100% trade if the stock had done any pre-market volume. So it has not, but that doesn't mean it couldn't come in. It's going to be on the radar. It's going to be it's on the watch list for a reason. But when you see the volume this low, maybe stick to the names which are currently churning through some volume. And then if we get a chance to play these levels at the open, why not? If there's going to be a dip, this obvious level down here at 15 where it broke out and then held support could be interesting as well. But I kind of have to sit lottery out for the open. Right now it's Cliffs I'm looking at. It'll probably be that PPSI, Lucid, Tesla. Those are taking our attention away from lottery. The levels look pretty good. If it gets to 1750, it's certainly a chance it could make a run. Just not doing anything right now.
No, I think it's an interesting aspect there. Anything on the blockchain is going to get a lot of people's love and support right now. So for me, I'm just seeing more downgrades coming for Peloton right here. It's been a nice little bump up to $54. Like I put on the sticky note, and the sticky note's up, by the way, so you can have a look at that. I hope it's up anyways. But you know what? People are just piling on this name. This has been beat down, in my opinion, a little bit too much here. We talked about trying to get long near 50. I think that's not a horrible spot for longer term. I bet you Christmas is a lot better than what people are going to think here for Peloton. I just feel like the price of the bike has come down. They've had a couple different iterations of it. I see a lot more advertising right now for Peloton. I know they trimmed up their staff there, letting go of X percentage. I think it was greater than 20% or so of their staff there on Friday, just due to some of the sales issues that they're having there. So I'm thinking this is almost overdone now to the downside. Another 3.5% for Peloton after basically getting cut in half just from last week. So we're at $100. You're down to 53 here. A good opportunity, in my opinion, anyways, to buy Peloton. I don't know if it's going to come through today. I'm going to be waiting there at, in and around 51.50, something like that, and then seeing what we do at $50 even. So if we get a little bit of a flush in Peloton, then maybe not for there. PepsiCo buying electric trucks from Tesla. Okay, so there you go. So, this is just, the Tesla story, obviously, guys, is not done. I've already talked about never selling Microsoft. I'm also never selling Tesla. Elon Musk can do whatever he wants. He has billions and hundreds of billions of dollars there. But, Tesla continues to make that move. I mean, they get that huge bump last week from 800 billion to over $1 trillion on a Hertz story that may or may not even exist. So we'll wait. I mean, it exists, but nothing's been signed. So here comes Tesla, still making a march upside. We talked about 1140. It doesn't look like we'll get that. Still down that 4 and a bit percent. But there's another deal here. It says buying electric trucks from Tesla, getting their first deliveries this Q4. So electric trucks now from Tesla, you're going to see on the road with a little bit of a Pepsi sign on the back. So good job there for Tesla making big moves here, not only in their sedans, but now also in said trucks.
Giddy up.
I feel it's only the beginning, guys. We had Walmart earlier, and here comes Pepsi jumping on this as well. A few little ones, bottom end of the list this morning. This is one of them, AUTL. It's worth noting we're kind of stuck in a range here on the daily chart from 5 to 7. So only a couple of things to note here. The top end of this is 750, and then above that, 8 even for AUTL. They got some financing from Blackstone, so $250 million in financing for some research for Blackstone. If we do get a fail down here, back below some support, I'll have a look at AUTL, guys.
So
Lucid's push. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just got long Ocugen here on another headline. Ocugen announces submission of investigational new drug application with the FDA. So possible new drug application here from Ocugen. It looks like it gets the bump already. We take it here thinking that we have a lot more room to run possibly on Ocugen if this is something. So right now we're into Ocugen right here. I think holding out for 10 makes sense. So we'll do that. We'll hold out for 10 to the bottom now. We're in Ocugen and we're in FSL with only 4 minutes to go. And just a quick look here, the imbalances. NASDAQ's going to come out in 2 minutes. So there's nothing here on NASDAQ. And EDU just continues to be a buy. I don't really see anything else of significant. I mean, Cliffs Natural Resources here, Ford and Pfizer. Yeah, SNDL, whatever, that's not doing anything. So right now we'll go over to Brendan probably with this story, but Ocugen right now, I think we'll take some more bids here if it continues to fall. What's up?
Yeah, it's worth noting, guys, this is not COVID related. This is a retinal degeneration treatment. So they had a phase 1-2 clinical trial that came back with gene therapy. It is that came back with positive data. So that was the headline there for Ocugen.
And so Lucid just made another power move here. Wow, all the way up to that 44.20 top. So
Ooh-wee.
I mean, look, obviously wanted to dip by a little bit lower than this. But with 3 minutes to go, it looks like it's taking out that high. Like I said, I didn't like that 44.20 break just in terms of the setup because the risk to reward when you get to 45 didn't make sense to me. But on that headline, this is what happened. So on that headline in Tesla with Pepsi there, it popped up to 1165. Right back down to 1150. So kind of worth noting that the second the buyers came in, there was some selling coming into it. Like we said, there's probably going to be some people that look to ring the register on Tesla. I think it made a heck of a lot more sense in front of 1250 than it does now because you're selling after the 5% pullback. But whatevs, it looks like it's going to happen anyways. And 1140, 1115 are the two levels I like for a bit of a dip buy. That PP, only 2 minutes to go here, guys, so I'm going to churn through some of the names that we're interested in. This PPSI is still holding right around $6. It's set up for potential 650 break. The longer, I kind of thought it was going to make this break before the open. The longer it sits around here without making that push, you got to at least start thinking about, okay, the 930 pop and fail. So if it pops up, does not break 650 at 930, I'd look for that reversal and then maybe a quick little short off of that fail. Still like that 650 breakout, but if it doesn't go, I'll trade this in either direction. Even with the small float, this was easy to borrow for us. A little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah, so we're still watching some Aki Gen. I'm looking at AMD here. AMD's on my list to dip by as well today. You know, when I wrote the sticky note, obviously we were late with it today, but you know, we were down here 136, 137, and at that point we sort of thought that, you know, we may reinvestigate or look at this situation here, 135.50, with a possible drop down to just noting that the bottom's 134. I mean, the bottom's really 134.50, but noticing that that might be a spot we may want to get out of 134. But now you're up way again here, man. I mean, this is going to be new all-time highs one more time here for AMD. You know, new closing high anyways, as we close at 137, 137.50 or so. So almost right where we're opening up. We're up 1%. So this should put AMD back to all-time highs here. So, I mean, what a great run this has been. It's showing its 52-week high is 141. That's intraday. So we'll see if it could take that out. Also, just another look on another big name stock. I mean, Facebook has been hot fire since going over to Meta. And, you know, I cannot believe I have well, I can believe it because I have it, but a 311 tick in here in the old account. But we made it all the way back to VWAP. With only a little bit of time left. Let's see if anything hit the imbalance locator quickly. No, NASDAQ did nothing of interest on NASDAQ.
Yeah, and Miss V is on the bell. The NASDAQ is exactly flat, so it's a wow. Was it zero when you checked it? It's exactly 0%. So Miss V, ring it for a Monday. We're going to drop the countdown here. Tesla 1150, Cleveland Cliffs moving, PPSI, Lucid's going gangbusters. 5, 4. Oh, yeah, and we're all day today. 3, 2, and 1. Did we even say that?
We're coming back at 2 p.m. It's going to go from us to memes and movers to Tesla right now. We just got a 140. What? Oh, okay. So we're not even open yet. Let's get out some if we can. Tesla just tanked down hardcore. Are we? Oh yeah, we are open. So we just had a big winner there on Tesla. We are long 142.55. We got to investigate this as it just dipped down to 140, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, big dip to the downside there. That PPSI looking like it wants to fail initially off the open. It's breaking that 6 even. It didn't pop up high enough for me to get a rollover. And Cleveland Cliffs didn't buy that dip either. But PPSI now holding the top. I want to see this push into 650. If it comes in and fails at the rollover, otherwise you got to think about that buy. Tesla, like we said, I mean, like the selling's starting to come in here. I think overall it's going to end up being a buying opportunity. It's churning through this 1140, but you're watching the battle. It got to 33, nowhere close to even those quarters, and trying to bounce back up here. That's the flush. That's the only flush. I mean, that's incredibly strong by Tesla. They're trying to push it down. Really, 10, 15 bucks isn't a huge move yet.
No, so we did. So we got in and we did get out a little bit there once it did break, but now you're seeing it move back up to the upside here. So we do have 142.55s on now. Maybe that was, like you just mentioned there, Neil, that may have been a decent flush to the downside. So we still have this name on. We'll see if we can't put it up to the upside, but we had to get out when that broke. It was definitely in the money, but that came out pretty hard there to the downside. So there goes Tesla. Now it's just bouncing around, man. I don't know what to think of that bottom there, 132, 133. But yeah, here goes Tesla back to the upside. We have it for now.
Yeah, and here comes, here goes Lucid. So that 44.20, if you like that break, it was fantastic for you, maybe giving you a 30, 40 cent winner. Trying to follow through. Remember, 45 for me was going to be a chance at a fade, and then 50. If it breaks through 45, you're likely off to the races when it comes to Lucid here. But I'm just looking for this test to see what happens. And just getting back over to Cliff, it still has not broken the high. 24 break for me, not high of the day. 24 even will be the breakout for me on Cleveland Cliff.
Yeah, and like I said here, we do have now a $7 winner here on Tesla. So obviously we wish we did dump some out there, but we still got a piece on here as Tesla making a move back to the upside there. Long 142.55 on Tesla. That's working out quite nicely right now. So let's see if we get a 150 break. There it goes, 151. This is a $10 winner right now on Tesla and still making moves to the upside. So let's go Tesla, let's go. Making us a winner for now on this name. Let's check out some AMC, I guess, if you guys want to. We have some AMC always looking nice and fine for us. But there goes, I mean, whatever. I'm going to stick on Tesla right here. If we can get like a 156 or so bid, that might be pretty good. Tesla to the moon right now, guys.
Yeah, and Tesla up, and then Lucid failing to get to that 45 mark. I mean, I was just able to pick up some shares when it rolled over. It stalled at 44.80. That was close enough for me, so we'll ring the register a bit in front of that 44.20 pre-market high. We'll take some out, and then we'll look to see how much further it goes down. This might be a scalp trade. If it cannot break 44, I might run run to the exit here because I still like a 44 even, 45 even break if it does come in, but Tesla goes up, Lucid comes down a little bit. There's 44 checking up. That's me getting out. The second I saw a bit of a bounce, I'm just going to walk away from this. You got to be careful shorting any of these types of names. Lucid's been a great runner, but I liked the fade off of 45 more than I liked the 44.20 break. Happy to take that one, although PPSI might have been a missed opportunity. As that was happening in Lucid, there is the push up in PPSI. Fails at 640 in front of that 650. I don't catch that short because I'm shorting Lucid instead, and now it's starting to come into the downside. So that little pop and drop worked on both these names, but difficult to have both at the same time.
Brendan, what's up, bud?
Another big mover to start here, guys. eHealth, EHTH, down 40%. Wow, back to session lows here after earnings in the pre-market. Missing, obviously, guys, for eHealth.
All right, I don't even know what to do now. We're $17 now in the money, so Pokeroo is going to try to give me some guidance here on this one as we are now nicely upside here, up as high as 165, 164 or so there on this one. So yeah, super, super pleased, obviously, with this Tesla trade. Not super pleased that we did get out of some there, but 160 may be a good stop here for us as here it goes. Just let's go, Tesla, man. We talked about that 1140. I mean, it's right on our sticky note, man, 1140. So there it goes to the upside. A nice $20 winner now for Tesla, man. Did you get any of this Tesla, Neil? I mean,
I went to Lucid. Like,
yeah.
I was looking, once it broke and didn't hold 1140, I was looking a little bit deeper and never caught it. Thankfully, we got Lucid, and well, I mean, PPSI is going to be a bit of a miss, but this the trade desk, the trade desk here, still a double top. It also popped and faded at the open off of 85, that lower high that it just put in. So making another churn. If this holds up at 82, 83, still a chance it might take out the highs there, guys. So watching the trade desk, not sure we're going to get the trade that we want. Speaking of trades that we want, let's go, Cliff. You're on the New York. Cleveland
shit.
Cliff now approaching that 24 even area. There it goes. 23.94, current high, still setting up for a bit of a break, but this also fading off. So if you talk about failing to break out of the high and then reversing, it could happen in Cliff as well. If it tests 24 again, if I like the level one direction, I got to be willing to take it both ways. US Steel's probably doing something similar. It's Cliff that I decided I wanted to trade today.
Okay, so we have now a $25 winner on this name as it just continues to make that move to the upside now. And of course, what we're talking about is Tesla, $25 in the money. And if you want, guys, it's on our sticky note, 1140 long. So there it goes. Nice upside. We're going to get out if it breaks down through 1160 here on the downside. We'll get out and put $20 in our pocket there for Tesla. FCell right now, $17 in the money, or 17 cents. We did go up $17. We did go upside there on FCell, 980. But you can see we stopped right there. So let's put an offer around 980, see if we can get that. But right now we're just focused on our Tesla coming back in here. 1165, still back up to day's high one more time here and ripping, man. $26 winner right now on Tesla.
Big time winner. I'll hit a key for you. Why not?
Sick.
I don't know. Sorry. My hand was on that one. I know it's. I could have done. We have a Tesla key. That's kind of what I'm pissed off myself for not quickly getting to that one. I did get into Cleveland Cliff here, guys. So I still like the 24 break, but when I see it fail at the open and then round into this level, I'm going to take a shot shorting it. I got an 87 short. It's a reversal to a long all day. Well, I mean, right now it is anyways. And then Tesla pushing up into this pre-market high at 1180. I mean, if it takes that out, remember the only level I like for a short was if it popped up and got to 1200. Hey, that could happen today. I thought that'd be like a little bit later on in the session, but here we are 5 minutes in. Brendo, what do you got?
Yeah, another fleet-oriented, climate change-focused EV maker here. EVGO, guys, big move, 24%, obviously off the infrastructure bill as well for EVGO.
Wow, Peloton continuing to flush into the downside here, guys. So taking out the low of the day just now at 52.60. I'll short any pop I can get. I got into Cleveland Cliffs, and there goes PPSI into that downside one more time. Puts in a lower high off 6 even. I think this thing might be under a lot of pressure. I'm going to jump in. I still like a 650 can still be a breakout for you, but I think playing it off of this 6 to 615 area for rollover short is the scalp trade to make. 40 million in volume. It's going to churn through a ton.
Guys, this is a $35 winner right now on Tesla and still going to the upside. So, I mean, we can, wow, 1178 right now on Tesla? Like, what is even happening right now as this just continues to go to the upside? We got an out now 1169. If we're going to break back down in, we'll get out of this one. I mean, I'm just waiting for this to come in. We're giving it like $5 of room every single time, and this just keeps on marching to a beat of its own freaking drum right now. And then there goes FCell as well, man. What kind of a day is this? One more time, upside on FCell 983. We're long 953 right now on FCell. I have an offer on this one 995, so we'll see maybe if we can get taken out on that one. But right now, FCell rocking and rolling, man. The only thing that's a problem is OCGN, and that's not even a problem. So right now that's coming in. We'll watch OCGN. We took another bid right there. We're going to protect this $10 level, but there goes Tesla, man. $30, about to get out, man. I mean, this is a big flush to the upside, a move to the upside. If we break through 1170, we're gone on this one. But wow, man, a $30 winner for Tesla, man. Let's stack up that cash. Just wish that didn't happen in the open, because we got long at 42 there, and unfortunately when it flushed out, man, I had to get out something at 38. And there it is. There's a $30 winner. Spin it. We are now out of Tesla. Great trade there for me. Hopefully you guys had some of that long.
And PPSI, of course, halts before the breakout, so I'm trapped short on that name with a stop to go for the breaks. I'm going to cancel my stop, because if it breaks 650, I want the long. That means the reopen long, regardless of where it is. Cleveland Cliff reversed into the long trade off of 24 even. You're starting to see it go. I'm going to assume that the same thing is happening over in US Steel, although I haven't checked yet. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Airbnb, quick guys, there was a couple of positive notes from analysts on this one this morning as well on the reopening play. Remember, had a decent day on Friday, but Airbnb going again, 3.5%. Okay,
so I'm already a little bit pissed off here because we miss. I'm not pissed off. I mean, you take a $30 winner. I mean, pissed off. You know. Okay, but here goes Palantir, though. This is what, if anything, we're a little bit upset about here, because Palantir, we had it written again on our sticky note. And thank you for your patience today, guys. I mean, the sticky note is something that I try to get out for you guys here. And if you could see here, Tesla. So you want Elon to sell? That's nice. 1140 buy zone. 1140 buy zone. Okay, Tesla right now, guys, we bought it at 1140. It's at 1170. We already took that winner. We'll talk about that. FCell, we already talked about a long on that one. Hopefully you have that. AMD, Peloton, and then right down here, earnings this week for Palantir. Look at a 2630 break, right? So unfortunately, that does happen as we are celebrating our win here on Tesla. But you can see there's the 2630 break. It hasn't looked back at all since then. So there it goes, man. Tesla 1169. I have no idea what Trader Pratt is trading over there.
Affirm.
Affirm. So
it's got to be Affirm. Yeah, so I mean, Affirm, which is, Affirm just says hold my beer basically always. This is 176 we're seeing as a top. So breakout again. It's $10, which on Affirm doesn't seem like a lot. No, it is. What are we even talking about here? $10 move still fantastic for it. Kind of short this one at your own peril, although even dollar numbers make sense to me. 180 is the next one to come in. It's already put the 175 break on and showed some strength to the upside from that point. This is just a daily chart here. And then if it dips back down, you got to think about 170 as a support area on Affirm. Going to go over to Lucid. Someone just asked, do I like the break? On Lucid, yeah, I still like the 45 break just because, why is it still on the firm? So just because I took the short in front of 45 the first time and scalped it doesn't mean I don't like the long break. I still like the long break. It was the same thing with Cliff, willing to play it in either direction. But once we get that break at 45, I'm going into the long on Lucid. I don't have any obvious levels once you get above there, unless you think about 50 even, guys. So watch out. Lucid coming in any second now. I said maybe US Steel. I mean, it could be going. But I got to go to Peloton. This is going to be a miss because this should have been, this should have been a short. At some point, it should have been a short. I was over at Lucid instead and looking at that PPSI, and then still going to the downside. 50 does feel like it could happen today on Peloton.
Shoot, I'm buying it right now. I missed buying it earlier, but we'll buy it right now on this name. And then check out another one, man. We're going to go 2 for 2. Spin the money because right here. Check out FCell, man. Again, it's on our sticky note there as a 950 buy. I mean, we did that exactly what we did there. Not only that, but like, you know, and we talk about this with some of the other I guess, shows similar to ours. I don't know if there is anyone similar to ours, but you know, it comes right back into 950. Anybody could have had that, right? So we're not making calls like, oh, now I'm going to celebrate Tesla. I took Tesla into the teeth with you guys there before crushing that stock. So, you know, we take that into the teeth and then it goes right to the upside, take some risk management off there in case we're wrong, and then Tesla just bumps it right to the upside there. So again, you know, like just talking about that, we're trying to be real for you. We gave you FCell and now it's ripping to the upside. So I just hope that, you know, we can could celebrate this victory together on FSL. Not only that, but then their Palantir call that we gave as well, that I gave, sorry, I'm not allowed to say we, that I gave, and we stamped some of these trades ourselves, that was a 26.30 break on the high of the day, looking at strong moves here for Peloton, or for Palantir today. So let's go long. We're long Peloton. We're going to see what happens near 51. What's up, Brando?
Just seeing Citigroup, guys. Nice move for C. Looks like they announced today they're going to wind down Korean operations. So Citigroup up 2.5% here. Relative volume very high though for C.
Yeah, I'll bring the Reggie in a little bit of that Cleveland Cliff trade as it made a high there in the teens. Almost said Tesla, but Lucid breaking that 45 into the upside. I mean, as always, I'll take some out if I can get some at that quarter mark. I'll look for where the dip buy is going to likely be. I wouldn't want it to be at 44.20. I think more ideal, you're looking something in the 50 to 60 range if we get that first level up. I know I only said 44.20 because that was the pre-market high, man. It's not like it's not a psychological thing. It's just a level that shows up all the time on those charts. So Cleveland Cliffs, we just talked about getting some out there when it hit that recent high, 24.15. I'm going to look at the quarters is always there, and then the $50 marks as well. That PPSI, so was in the short, liked it to the long side if it broke 650, which means get out and then take it long on the reopen, because this was a breakout trade that I wanted anyway. So we're going to see if we can't work. It got to $7, guys. I'm going to see if I can work it. Hopefully that's $7. 662 is where it opened back up, and immediately some rejection. Was able to get some shares in front of 75. I definitely take some 80s and some 90s on the way up if it wants to get there. 7 even looks like it's a bit of a barrier though. Oh wow, now it's coming down to the downside pretty hard. Going to get out on that reopen. On the retake of that halt price at 650. Looks like the reversal only gave you about 15 cents there, maybe 20 at absolute best. But PPSI going absolutely gangbusters. As that happened, because I'm out of that one, Lucid continuing to push higher. Going to get an offer out in front of the 50 mark. 45, 50 that is, and then see how far it can go. This and Cliff, I don't mind holding on to them all day long. If we're going to continue that breakout, you can look at many names that are up related to the infrastructure bill. I just picked the one that had the setup I like the best. Brennan again?
Here comes another one. Blink, guys. BLNK just popping back up on volume here. 3650 was a bit of a problem here in the pre-market. So heads up, Blink and CHPT starting to go as well.
All right. Yeah, so looking at Lucid, yeah, charge point. We have FSL. That's a big winner for me. 60 cents now in the money for this name as it's starting to go right here. And that is FSL now making new highs, like just an unbelievable run here for this name. FSL to the upside, just great charging spot there. I'm also in XL Fleet, so there is some of that name hopefully trying to go as well. So we'll wait to see on that one. Peloton's only right now a little bit in the money and not a lot. So we're not super happy with the way this Peloton. We're super happy because it's in the money, but I still think there is an opportunity for this one to come back into round 50. We'll see if we can get some more. This is just a very, very small starter position. So yeah, we did hope for a little bit of a bigger position here on Peloton, but if it does come in, I do want to defend that 50 area as I think that can work. OCGN. So we took the long. We talked about why we like this long, into, again, okay, here it comes back in. So we're going to get out of this. But this was one of those newer drugs situation. It wasn't a COVID pill or anything like that. So they're trying to apply for some FDA. Doesn't look like that's going to be good. Our drop down here is right this bottom, 990. So we'll look out for that one as that's coming back in right now. OCGN on the downside. So not a great trade here for OCGN as we tried it. That was small. We talked about that. But we do have a decent position on now. As you can see, the average price, 1033. So hopefully that will come in just a little bit for us.
So I got some more Lucid out in front of that 44.50, but that's not where I'm looking now. Now I'm looking back at this PPSI. So initial win, and then we took a hit on the long, we took a hit on the short. It's holding up pretty nicely. So it's a failed breakdown at that 650, that halt price. I mean, technically 62s, but a failed breakdown at that halt price, then broke 7 even. At this point, it does look like another failed push. I don't like to short unless it's off of the high of the day or below that 650 mark. So I'm going to stay away from this one on the south side until it gives me one of those two things. Otherwise, you can continue to play the breakout. I know some people are looking at charge point. Whoops.
Yeah.
And again, pick the one that you're going to be comfortable with in terms of a trade. This starting to come back in. It already put in one wipeout bottom, but hey, that's 26.50. That's pre-market, a big pre-market level. It needs to hold up here. So it's showing some serious signs of weakness, charge point here, but good sign that it held that pre-market 26.50 area for those of you that are keeping score at home on that particular name. And I mean, obviously, I didn't get that long on Tesla. The only place I would have liked to short didn't come remotely close to that 1200 area. So you're pulling back at 1180, which is the pre-market high here that I'm seeing. About 1180 almost exactly. If it holds above this flush point 65 when that Pepsi news came out, then that's a tight range, which gives you an 80 break with a 65 stop. That's actually pretty solid. Is that Miss V?
It is.
Right here at the big screen?
Ooh, my favorite name.
Hey guys, it's negative day for Nike. Stock is down more than 3%. Do you see any opportunities in this stock today?
That's my favorite name there. Noticing now that we're down quite big. I don't know what's going on today. Obviously, there's been some rotation into. Yeah, it's down 3%. So we didn't get our money out of this name. We're long at 145 for a trade here. So I actually don't know what's going on with Nike today. So I probably won't trade it. We'll wait to see if there was a headline. This is a little bit strange to me here. I have to look to see on a 20-minute chart just to see if there's anything. That's a 1 minute. Here's a 20 right here. If there's anywhere where we may stop, maybe 169, 170, but down to 170 right now. Yeah, the inflation trade. I guess no one's too scared of that. 170.50 here. That's a good spot. I think we can actually go long here and see if we're get some little bit of a bounce back here on NKE. Thanks, Ms. V. Off that 170.50 here might be a good area for Nike.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I went to look at is, I mean, Nike's going to be down. I saw Procter was down. I'm sure we could look at a couple of other names that are, it might be a rotation here happening. Chewing this one up is Lucid here, getting to that 46 mark, 45.97. So I'm hanging on to some. We got the quarters, we got the 50s on that 45 break. I'm looking to see if I can't, hold through a breakout. But when you get a rejection like that on an even number, if it does a hard flush, then comes back in, getting out and then taking a breakout is another way to play this that I tend to prefer. Take the money and run when you can, then find that next trade. Brendo, another name for it.
Nothing at first glance, guys, for Nike, but one we did briefly mention in the pre-market here, just popping up. DD Global, why not? Came into $8 here, which was a bit of a level back on Friday. Big volume showed up at 805 there. So 2.8% for DD today.
Okay, well, we're going to hit the siren alert because we're already ringing the register right now already here on some Nike there. We just took 40 cents on that. Now we're even in more in the money, 117.40 there. So thanks for the call out on Nike as we continue to make that cash right now and a decent amount of it. Yes, sir. Thank you, whoever that was. And thank you, Ms. V, because there goes Nike, man. We just took some out at 172 there flat. So that was a good trade to the upside. Now goes NKE. Big time trade right there for me. So we'll watch out for that. We liked it so much. We actually bought it twice down there, guys. We bought some 30s, then some 40s, and we just took a little bit out. So we'll wait to see where that goes. FCell still 61, and then Peloton coming back in. So this is, again, not even worried about this. We are looking to get some more here. 4120s will get some more shares, and then we'll see where we go from here. But Peloton rocking and rolling. Tesla, oh man, happy we got out at that price because it looks like that's just sort of hovering around. If I didn't get out of that, I definitely would have got out here like on a 65 break. So really happy that we're sort of out of the problem area here for Tesla. A nice $30 win. We'll have to celebrate that, but I know Neil has something. There goes FCell as well. 75 cents in the money.
I probably should have trailed this one out, but Lucid, 46.50. I'm going to get out in front of that. Now it's approaching 47. When these things start to get really, really parabolic, that's when I'm looking for a reversal play. And guess what? Last time I checked, if you want to go short, you actually have to be out of a long position. So when I see that spike up, it gets super parabolic. I'm thinking about a reversal play. I just look at the scope of the move here. When it failed that 40 level, your support was about $4 or $5 down. It's like a 10% move. So if I do think at some point it's going to turn around, you could put that in. I didn't get to 50. Clearly, you could have got 47 as an absolute top there, but 46.78 is where it went. So not close enough to use that even dollar for the reversal short, but I was looking for it. That's the only reason I got out. I just might have actually missed that trade. It's going to happen to you. PPSI just failed break at 7 even again. So now you have a bit of a double top. If it holds here at that halt price, it halted about 644 here. But if you look at the dip after that halt up, 662. If it holds that level, you're setting up for a good break here at 720. That gets below that price. You can start thinking about the shorts again. Cliff starting to come back in, looking for a reload. Brendan, what's up, bud?
Zillow, guys, one that was all over the headlines last week, obviously. Back to this 67 level, which it came into play a couple of times on Friday and then Thursday as well. But trying to bounce here for Zed today.
Okay, Zillow trying to bounce. Yeah, we did talk about that last week. I remember that clearly, that Zen stock. We're trying to get something else to bounce here right now, though. If we can get Peloton to go back to the upside, we're waiting for that 50. I mean, this is a very, very basic trade, about as basic as you can get. We will put on one more position here. We've planned this average in. You guys heard me talk about this even when we had this on board, what we were waiting for, right? And we're waiting for this drop here into 50.51. We talked about wanting to get more of a position on here. So let's see if it can work out now. As it's coming down. I mean, sometimes, you don't want to get exactly what you wish for, but here it comes to the downside now. We'll just see if it can't make us a winner. We're long at 51.37 right now. So, yeah, it's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination, but still not a great trade. So far, we're out of the money 20 cents, but you have to average into this. Like, I'm not going to be able to pick the very bottom here, obviously, on this name, so we'll have to wait for it. F-sell now, guys. I mean, talk about picking the bottom. We talked about 950 on this, so there we go. A nice little, I mean, it's more than 10% move on this one name alone here, as it's continuing to go to the upside. And then Nike just bouncing around. We did get another 1172 or so, but now you're coming back in. We're trying to defend this 170.50 bottom. So we'll look to do that. If it comes back in, we'll look to get a few more shares. But right now, Nike and Peloton just bouncing around, man. We'll see if it can hold some of these bottoms.
Yeah, and it looks like that PPSI is going to be a failed break upside there. So take the break. It does not get past about 25s or so. Flushes right back in. Going to cover it in front of that 675. If it gets below that whole price, it's going to be a short. That's about 662 was that whole bottom, and the whole price is about 644. Brendan, another name for us already.
That's so many.
We saw some buying coming into the cannabis group, guys, late in the day on Friday on some rumors. Remember this move up late in the day on Friday on some rumors that Republicans are finally getting behind some legalization talk. Anyways, Tilray again today, 4% here on decent volume again.
So definitely a good move on Tilray. Guess what came right back to that top? So we're waiting patiently for the trade desk, and after dipping down $5, you're looking at a top end break. It's 85.58 is the current high. I mean, whether you look at 85.60 or put a stop at 59, you're probably splitting hairs. It has a 10-cent spread. Most of the times I'm looking at it, so you do want to tread. Be careful. Like, there's always a price you're not willing to pay on a breakout, and then understand when you're getting in out of this, there's going to be slippage on the trade desk. But there is a top break. It's finally come in. Yeah, this one took. I mean, we're like 9.55 here, and it finally breaks out the high. It seemed like it was almost inevitable. Whoops, this is what it looks like. If I can do this for you guys, here we go. Not split adjusted, unfortunately. If it can continue this break, your next resistance. I mean, this is literally $90 even, right? Like, yeah, the last wick. So, I think there's room to 90, which seems crazy when a stock is up 25%. But, I mean, the trade desk has been saying hold my beer for a while, so I don't see why I can't continue that today. Now, if you think there's that much room, I think your dip is at about 83. Certainly, if it has a tighter range for the next couple of minutes into 84, that could be a good zone. Cleveland Cliffs looks like that break stalls out right at that 15 level. Now you're right back into VWAP here. If it cannot hold VWAP, I'm going to get out if it breaks 75s. If we can, I'm looking for a re-entry point somewhere in the 90, maybe like 90, 95 range, somewhere along those lines with a 75 stop. So it looks like Cliff has died a little bit. And then PPSI breaks a low, so I'm now short in that name again.
Oh man, Palantir. I mean, good for us, man, as shareholders here on Palantir. But it is still ripping. If anybody got that, congratulations. I put that again right on that sticky note at 26.30. We like that break of the pre-market there. We don't have it. We were too busy with some other trades, as you guys know. But that would have been a nice one to have for sure. There as a nice little breaker 1.9 there for Palantir. I still think. We do have more upside on Palantir. I mean, we just touched 27 there. I mean, that's a big high for the last little while. They've been making some new contracts. I mean, we already know the story here, so let's not worry too much about Palantir and what they're doing, but you're looking to take out 27 right now. So, so far so good on all the Palantir talk. If you're long Palantir, you're pretty happy. But watch out for a 27 break. That's another spot that I think that we should probably look at. So we'll wait to see on that for Palantir. But all right, we'll watch out for Ethereum. Just to give a good talk here on that if we can. Just making new highs one more time, 47.34. So you got to watch out for Hut 8, BTBT, some other names like that still trying to print today. So those names going to be into watch zone for us today as well. And there goes Nike, hopefully now starting to get going a little bit here. You see the big daily drop there in the 20-minute chart. Thanks for bringing this to our attention. Not really sure why it's down today, but on the 1-minute chart, we are defending some of these bottoms. So we'll see if it can make it back upside here on NKE, trying to go back up. I really think that this is a good possibility to get back to VWAP there. So we are waiting above 172 for this name. Might be a little greedy on that, but we're still going to wait for that. And then FCell still 70 cents in the money, just topped out at 1040.
So a couple of things here. One, got out of that cliff. It couldn't hold the rest of the break. So the breakout gives you a little bit, and then it takes it right away. It looks like Lucid, I mean, it might not end up being the top after all, because you're churning right back into these highs. It does still set up for 47 break. If it double tops here, this is a little bit too linear to want that short. So I'm kind of walking back the notion of the short for now, because the setup isn't really there for me. I just got into that trade desk trade, and a couple of other ones that I thought we'd be trading this a little bit more heavily today. Cassava Sciences. It was looking like a setup for a break. At the open, it failed a break of 95. Now it's coming all the way back in. So unfortunately, it looks like Sava's not going to have any kind of a run in it today. I was looking as well with you, Sean, at Peloton.
Yeah,
at the open for a short. But now we're getting to that 50 mark, right? And you can pull back as far as you want here on the daily chart. And then you're going to kind of see when it broke out, if you go all the way back into June of last year, this is about a 51 level, which is just broken through now. Psychologically, you have 50. Below that 50, there's like 43 and 37. So, I mean, to say that 50, if it doesn't hold up, is going to be a big level is an understatement on Peloton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even right now focused on Peloton, but yeah, we do have that position on, and we're starting to get filled on that one. But look at Nike, guys. I mean, spin this. Now we're $1 plus in the money on NKE. So we will obviously watch our Peloton trade here because that's going to come in. But we just took out another piece there. We have, we had a decent position. That's why I have 20, 40, 60. We still have that piece on right now. And we're just watching Peloton. We just took our last fill right now. We're getting ready for this thing to drop back down in. So Peloton, look, man, we're still right here with you. We've got you, Peloton, we've got you, but you may have us if you break through 50. We're gone on PTON. But Nike, man, that's working. Needless to say, Nike working right now. The trade desk off as well. Nice move on that one. Lucid, that's a name that we should probably check out here, as well as Nike. I know you had a nice long there on Lucid off the open, and now 46 and change now on that name. I think that's been the high, 46.78. We'll have to wait for this. My charts still think it's New York. There we go. So we'll hit that one more time, 46.50. So yeah, some definite consolidation up here.
I mean, certainly, Lucid's been a big one. I just don't think you have to rush into the next trade. Like, it could end up being short. I've said I backed off the notion of a short ID because if you short 46, 46 and a half, it's too far to the top. I think that's reckless. If it does dip down, there's still a decent chance 45 could hold up. Playing in the middle just feels like a bit of a losing game. PPSI just retested 7 even. Oh yeah, and there was a big seller at 7 even, so re-up on the short trade in here. If this is a fail break top, this stock could be at 6 in an absolute hurry. The trade desk isn't really doing a heck of a lot, which it's not the end of the world, but hey, I thought the dip might be to VWAP. If it's going to hold, like I said, if it's going to hold a higher low at 84 even, this is now the second time it's going to do it since that long, it does open up the notion that you can take some off of 85 instead of waiting all the way down, or 84, 85, instead of waiting all the way to 83. Not to ignore this, because last week, Moderna was a big... look, Moderna was, some of the biggest opportunities as a day trader that you could have to the short side. You're getting a bit of a bounce here today in Moderna as it pops up through, I guess, Friday's. They're not the highs, but the Friday afternoon highs at 237. At this particular time, it's right back into this level. If it can hold it, maybe it makes a run at 250. Moderna fell so far. It got all the way to almost $200, which is an obvious level. So not a surprise that it could catch a bit of a bounce here on mRNA. I still think it's kind of a short until it's not, but don't get in the front of this one if it does hold 237. I think 250 is the only reasonable level to short it if you go early.
Yes, sir. Basically, I'm just waiting for Peloton. There's not much else happening right here. What about NIO? The market's doing okay, where NASDAQ is now down on the day, so that's going to be a little bit of a cause for concern, obviously, as we go. NEO right here. Let's go. Like, you go from a NASDAQ stock to New York stock, it's no bueno. Okay, so 1 minute shot up there, 43.50, 43.60. Let's see on the daily chart. Obviously, NEO's right here. Would rather it be above 46 to do any sort of a trade there on NIO. Let's go back over to AMD again. So we're going to have to wait for the charts to load up because that's what it's doing right here. All right, so AMD back to 139. How low? how low did we go here on AMD? I guess I do need Trader Prod to have a look at my computer because maybe that way we'll be able to fix it. This is a charting problem though. 138 even. Never got that dip, man. We were looking for dip buys in AMD. You could see it's just taken off, like almost new all-time highs. 141 is the all-time high there. We almost hit that. Coming back in now is AMD. As you can see, the NASDAQ not doing much. This is why I'm not really wanting to put on too many trades. This is not a bad trade right here, though, especially if you get it into 138. So let's see if we get a little bit of a dip down, 139 and change, maybe on AMD, like a 139.20 or so. That could easily come in. So don't think that that can't right here on AMD. So let's see if we get that dip buy into 139.20 or so.
Yeah, and just looking at Lucid here, it does pull right back into VWAP. I mean, 45 almost even. Like I was just trying to get some shares there down around like, the 10s, maybe even like the 08s, like something in that range, and it bounces away from it. If it consolidates, I think it's got another run. And, obviously it would have been right to dip into the short. But you have to follow your rules, and I think following my rules was staying away from it. Might have missed that bit of a bounce there. And as it goes, I'm not going to chase it. But Tesla, here it comes, screaming right back up towards that pre-market highs. Ignore those other wicks. 1180. This is your 1180 double, well, 77, 78 double top here. It's definitely setting up for a potential break at 1180. Until it gets through, still a decent chance it can put a reversal in. If it fails off of 80, I want to take a shot short, reverse to a long type of idea there. That PPSI starting to fall back in. It's only gone in the money, about 10 cents at most, and then comes back and retests 7 until it breaks. That 650, that certainly has a chance at running once again. But Tesla, right back up towards these highs. I mean, Tesla's saying hold my beer, obviously. This was not a surprise. Everybody knew that Elon was going to be selling these shares. I mean, if you could read, he literally said it in, I forget what conference he was at, where he said this a few months ago, that he was likely to sell. So, I mean, shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. And there were buyers ready for when people sold on the news.
Yep, and right now we are selling some more Nike because that just made a beautiful upside move. And again, thank you to Ms. V for that one. And then also thank you to our viewers for bringing that to my attention there. And all we did, man, we talk about this all the time, like just zoom back out a little bit here. We had that 170.50 right here, that bottom. So that's what we took advantage of. And now we're cashing in here to the upside, obviously, on Nike as we just took that out for a nice win, man. 171.40s out 173.15. So again, a high quality name on your board here with a nice win there for Nike. Again, no news. Brendan gave us that, so we just sort of played the momentum back in there for Nike. But over there at the big board, it's time to go over to Brendan and see what's happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, the rally continuing for a Monday, fifth week, remember last week, positive territory. The Dow leading, 0.4 to the upside, the NASDAQ trying here, but depending on what you're looking at, the 100, the composite, red and green. S&P 500 in positive territory, but only just. Once again, it's small caps. The Russell having quite a day, 0.8% leading the way. This LTRY we were talking about in the pre-market ends up being really nothing to see here. It did test up to almost 17. Straight back into negative territory on the session, obviously not versus last week. Speaking of negative territory, still not much of a bid for Peloton, guys. Day lows right now. Back over to you.
Yeah, but a bit of a bid here once again at that 45 level on Lucid here. Now it bounces. I allow it to bounce. We'll take it to the long side when it makes that bounce. It broke through 45 even. The second time through, I'm not going to I'm always going to wait for it to drop a little bit deeper that second time through, but now into that long again because it just held VWAP. 44.80 was that initial pop that we faded. I think if it breaks below that, you're going to have to walk away from this one. And then, again, it doesn't mean it's not a trade for the rest of the day. It's just this particular long has to hold a 44.80 for me on Lucid here, guys. And Tesla, it's at 73s. If it gets that, it has to get to 80, or at least close enough to 80 in reverse for me to like that short. I want it to get there and then turn before I even think about shorting it at a level that isn't 1200.
So we actually got a little piece off, very, very small, a quarter of our piece, 20%, sorry, out there as we went back to 51. Basically just that's where our price was. Our average price was 50, what is it now? 50.96, so it was like 51 and change right there. So we did take a piece out as we watched Peloton go back up to 51. Thought it was going to break, so we didn't get it. We only got out of a small piece, but just an update there if you see that tick and you see the price of Peloton coming back in here. So we're watching out for that one. FCell also another name that we're watching watching out to see what we're going to do with that name, but that's breaking lower as well. EFSA, we already have that. We had that 90 cents in the money on that. Let's check back on AMC. We haven't done that yet today. We liked it in the pre-market, of course. AMC up to 42, 43.50, I believe it got. Yeah, it got as high as 43 even, basically. And now you're watching out what it's doing to the upside now as AMC coming in. We're watching out for this level. Good stop here. We've dumped out a couple times at this 41.70, 41.80 spot. But yeah, right now, just kind of, you know, thinking about what it wants to do here, AMC. So if we can bring this down to a 20-minute chart, yeah, I mean, I would so much rather like to get long here. I just think if you're long in the middle here, we don't have much to go on unless we're really playing off this 41.50. So let's let this jump in a little bit. If we can get longs 41.80, obviously that the story won't be done here on AMC, and we'll take that bid right there on AMC. So we just took about $1 and change, nice, more than $1 and change. We took almost $2 there on Nike, and now this is falling back in. We only have one piece left. Look, 20, 40, 60, 80, right? So right there, out 5 times. 4 times. We have one more piece to go on Nike, and we'll see where that goes. Pfizer back to 47.80. That might be a trade. But right now, guys, I'm just trying to watch this Peloton.
And there's Tesla 1180. By the way, Lucid got some out in front of 45.50 as it got bounced off that 45. It's going to try and hold the rest of these, see if we can get back to like a 46. So far, so good on that one. Battling that PPSI, which could take out the high. It could be back. There we go. We're going to be back into the long side of that trade. If PPSI halts up, by the way, I want to enter on a halt up of PPSI if I can. And by the way, at the same time, 20 and 60, 20 on Ford, 60 on GM, both broke at the same time while Tesla was taking out this 1180. Oh, sorry, Brendan.
What's up, Brendan?
Omar was asking about PayPal, guys. We had a look at it briefly there in the pre-market, but wasn't really doing much. Kind of quiet. We are up, I mean, 1.8%. Still, you know, below Friday's high, below some levels from Thursday as well. Remember, earnings tonight after market close, guys, for PYPL.
Somebody else.
I mean, we just hit this Ford level.
I think Virgin as well.
There's a bunch of earnings this week for sure. Most exciting, of course, Palantir coming through. We'll talk about that. Ford's already had their earnings, man, and I slapped a $20 price target on this thing when this was at 16. We're now at 20, and we took some off last week, which seems to be like a mistake here as it's all the way to the upside. I actually took out some GM last week as well, so that's still disappointing at $56. But now this is all the way to the upside as well. So, or was it 58? I don't know. It was Thursday or Friday of last week, but you can see here GM just straight up to the upside today on a lot of this news, man. I mean, these companies are, you know, rebranding, not rebranding, well, kind of, I guess, in the EV space, but, you know, electrifying their fleets, getting these little bump up here now, infrastructure. Yeah, it must have been around here, 50, probably in this area I sold, but anyways, we'll check back. Just lightening up on some of these names. We do have PaySafe coming through. There's AMD, man. I mean, again, on the watch list to buy it. We weren't able to get into it. It just didn't dip enough for us, but there's AMD. No! All-time highs for AMD as that just keeps on working, man. I think it's pretty soon probably taking out the market size of Intel. So we'll see what happens there with AMD as it's trying to make some moves now to the upside. 141.20. Any pullbacks in AMD needs to be bought, but we've already missed the high side of this trade, unfortunately, guys.
So a couple of fake halts on that, not fake halts, I mean, I guess failed halts. Like it goes into that 15-second halt period and does not halt in PPSI. I got shaken out of some of the reverse long on the first one there. It did do it again up there at 775 or so. Still churning to the upside, however. So if it does give a halt, I still like the entry to long. Just watch out. You know, it's kind of giving you that little bit of fake zone. So I want to see the bid actually stack up before I even get involved in it. That can be a bit of a dangerous game if you get trapped and this thing doesn't halt to the upside. Lucid still hanging on to that long. It's gotten up to 45.80 off this bounce at VWAP. I still want to see if it can't churn higher, especially with the Tesla break. And then, of course, I think we have to be patient with the trade desk. It's still going up. We're about 86.5, so, you know, starting to get close to $1 in the money. But, you know, this one has been basically consolidating up here, looking for that break. It's still very, very strong in the midst of not a very strong market. So I want to take some out on the north side of 87 and then see how far we can run here on the trade desk. It's just been, you know, a decent stock. It's just a breakout, taking some time to get to that upside. Don't want to get out of it too early, though. I think there's plenty of room to run on this one.
No, tons of room. I like that trade. That's, you got to be holding that one forever, I think. The trade desk today on earnings, a good call. They're not in it, though. It should be into the trade desk there on earnings. Okay, PPSI, people still, yeah, PPSI is bussing. Look, AMD is bussing too, man. We got out of some AMD. We talked about this last week, man, when we got out of some of this one at 136.50. And right now, man, I mean, wow, 141 and change. Let's check out NVIDIA. What is NVIDIA doing today? 303, so not as much, I don't think, as AMD. NVIDIA up 2%. What was AMD up there? A little bit more. Yeah, 4%. Wow. Okay, so AMD doubling the returns today on that name, so that's been a big mover to the upside. Disney coming in a little bit, still at that 178. Yeah, someone want to talk about PayPal. Look, I'm just hoping. We did buy some PayPal last week as well, around that 225 level. PayPal just continues to make moves downside here. Right there, yeah, 224 the bottom. This one's a name that we've been legging into because, you know, we were long this name. We're still long this name, but trying to get our money back into this at various levels. They're going to report this week as well. FinTech's been beat down, man. Square came through with not a great report last week, and then they bounced up to that 250, you remember. They're still trying to hold out, though. This is not a bad level for Square. Still trying to hold out. You see, that's that dip down last week into 234, and then we made a move back to 250 for some reason right there. So there's the earnings dip into, I guess it was 236, made a move back to 256, and then got hit all Friday before closing near the lows. So Square also not looking very safe. And talk about not looking very safe. What about PaySafe right here? A name that I really like moving into earnings just because it's been so beat down. But at the same time, man, like we need this thing to get back to 11 and 12 so we can, you know, start to be flat on this name. So PaySafe hoping for a big time, but it doesn't look like it's going to be for PaySafe as some of these fintechs. I think you kind of got to wait on that. Holy crap. Like Tesla, man, like you guys want to talk about something right now. We have this right here on the sticky note, buy zone 1140. Unbelievable that we get, I mean, it's not unbelievable that we get out. It does dip down here on the daily chart, and we got out because it was just sort of really at the open, there was a bunch of market orders popping through. Like when we got this trade, it was well in the money, but then it just kept coming back in, and we had to put a stop. I put it at 1138, so we did take a $5 hit there, but then it ripped up, and we took a $30 winner, and now Tesla's back to 1200. And I said this earlier, man, any selling on Tesla means that we just sit there and buy more of it. So, I mean, there we go. Anyone that sold Tesla this morning, my opinion, a little silly, but nothing wrong with taking some money off the table. There goes Tesla right back to 1200. Get ready for 1500 on Tesla.
And this AUTL that Brendan was just talking about here made another push. Well, I think he was just talking about it. Another push to the top side here. $8. Well, 790 is the current high, $8, a psychological level, but on the daily, you're waiting till like 850. That's a big level here on this AUTL. I think that could be a bit of a reversal point. There's still this battle happening on PPSI. Oops, you want the 1 minute chart here. Still that battling happening with those fake halts. That got me out of the long position, unfortunately. The reversal, still battling at like 740. At any moment, this could roll over, but it's been strong all the way through, so I'm not hopping back into any kind of a short trade on this name. I actually want a long, especially if it halts. It looks like 46, bit of a fail here on Lucid, so the dip buy at VWAP, running into some trouble here. Look, this is an aggressive candle and an aggressive sell coming back in. If it breaks these lows, I want to get out. It's been 2 for 2 on Lucid, but you know, it did fail at 47. If it fails at 46, I don't want to say the long is going to be done, but you don't want to throw away your day if you've been benefiting from the breakout here in Lucid. It's 9%, it's fantastic. I would expect at some point some money to come out of this name on Rivian Week. Maybe it happens early. I didn't expect it would be a pulling back this hard already. Tesla getting close to that 1200 mark. And Brendan coming back. What else you got?
More EV positivity here, guys. GGPI, if you remember, is a SPAC. It's Gore's Guggenheim, which is Polestar. I saw a billboard on the way to work today that called Polestar a collector's item. Not sure I'm in agreement with that, but nice move here so far. GGPI, 4.5%.
I can't believe Tesla. Spider's still ripping up. Tesla's still ripping up. Yeah. You also mentioned Brendo, obviously there about Tilray today, and some of these cannabis names starting to make some moves. So TLRY, that's good. That's a NASDAQ stock. Ooh, good. Got that one right. As you're seeing, we Batman in the building today, up that 8.5%. Just getting some love from, I guess, if you could refresh my memory there, Brendan, about what that story was. I think it was just from Friday. Just some positive movements last week in the space. So now you're starting to take out the 50-period moving average. I didn't average in into the bottom of any of these names. But again, a nice move up. I always think that you fade some of these plays when they start to make this move. So we could check out here on a 20-minute chart. We're already pretty high up, but watch out for 12. You get into 12, and I think it's worth taking some profit out there on Tilray as that's starting to move around. My favorite, I mean, the space that the name that I'm largest in here is this, and that is Canopy. So nice to see them up 4% and a bit as well. But you know, any kind of move to the high side, and you know, pun intended there, you should probably sell a little bit of Canopy as it's up to 1380 and change. So I think, you know, downside on this just continues to exist. The daily chart's been pretty brutal for a lot of these names. But if you're not in them, you know, there's not going to be too many better ideas that have this kind of an upside potential to it. But again, you do take that risk with that. And there goes Peloton right now. We're waiting for this. So let's see if it can rain down. There's some big size there at 51.10 that we need to get through right now on Peloton. But we're long right now, 50.96. It's finally in the money a dime. We'll wait to see if this can go. But it seems to have some problems right around 51. We're trying to offer 51.30. But let's go back over to Brendan.
Yeah, it was the Republicans, or there's some rumors floating around suggesting that they were going to come up with their own legalization, not bill, but some framework maybe for a bill. That was late in the week last week. Farfetch, guys, just popping up here as well through 38. Big volume went off.
Right.
Farfetch making some moves, but this AUTL still battling. It's trying to get this breakout. You can like 790 for a break, as I usually almost always say. I like that even dollar a bit better. And then 850 is the next level up on AUTL. So certainly room to run. Lucid's pulled back in. It's close to flat. I mean, it's up like 20 cents on the second half of this trade. I've already scalped some off VWAP and the trade desk. Still churning. I mean, this is like a slow motion breakout, but hey, as long as it's going up, right? Like, it doesn't matter. It's now put in a top just shy of 87. If it breaks 87, I think I like that momentum to get me some shares out. So if I don't get this print in front of 87.50 on an 87 break, I'd likely just manually try to get out of it on a pullback there. And then Tesla just continues to churn. Like I said, the only place I wanted to short it was if it gives you a chance off of 1200. And that's just, there's not a lot of levels up here to look at on Tesla. But if you come back to what was the floor, when it was holding 1250, if you look at what was the floor here, guys, I mean, it's very firmly going to be that 1200-ish bottom, 1208 or so. But 1200, I think it turns, you know, support into resistance if it gets to that price. It's an unbelievably fantastic run back into the upside. I didn't get that 80 break. It is what it is. You move on to the next trade. Now I'm looking at that trade desk. As I mentioned, just because it came in now, it just broke that 87. If that momentum doesn't get me out, which it looks like it's going to any second now, if it hadn't got me out, I was likely to cover in the quarters. But finally, the trade desk makes its secondary push. 87.50, I just took some. $90, the ultimate target on the daily chart. Brendan.
PaySafe, guys, having a nice day. If you remember back on Friday, quietly, I guess it was back on Friday, they announced a deal with Fubo Gaming. So PSFE, 5.6% so far.
Yeah, we just talked about that with respect to Square and PayPal, and it's nice to see it moving. So there you go. I actually waited for on the trade desk there 87.55, so we missed that. We did take a break there of 87, so we'll wait on the trade desk, see if it can go back to the upside there. Man, oh man, Peloton, it's like it came right in and it's just bouncing off that 51.08 level there, 51.10. We did see that there was a seller there, so we are alerting to that as well. But hopefully that can get going, man. And there was, maybe we could still see it. He's probably still there. A big seller there on Peloton 51. No, he's gone. No, he's gone. Maybe he's gone. We'll see what gateway it's going to be on. But if we can come back up for that, Peloton, excited to see if that one wants to break. We did get almost all of our money out on Nike as that's pulled back in just a little bit here. NKE trying to make some moves as well. Sundial up 4%, the same as all those names there. The trade desk bouncing around. Palantir bounced off 27 there. QuantumScape, wow, another monster mover for QS, guys. Anyone that was bottom picking this name, again, we talk about doing this, and you're lucky. Good to be lucky to be good there. As this just continues to make moves to the upside. QS, wow, now breaking out one more time on that 1 minute chart, up to $38 right now. $33, sorry. Took took out that 33.80, which was the high. I wish it was $38. I'm not in this, but I know some of you are. So there it goes, QS, man, starting to make moves one more time. And then that Ford, a name that we've been on for a while, just continues to march, man. March to the upside goes forward. $20 right now. Got to get some money out of this, but we've already been taking money out, and every single time I do that, it seems to be a mistake. So right now, Ford trying to go to the upside. We'll see if it continues to make that move, but there it is, $20.06. The trade desk battling around 87 again. We'll see if it gets to 87.50 one more time.
And one more time, Tesla, I mean, it's gotten up to this like 94, 95 area a couple of times here. Now, obviously, that's not going to be breaking yet, that 1200. I am looking for that short opportunity. But here's the thing. If you're going to short this stock, always have an out. This is simply, if it breaks 1200, I'm out of this bad boy, and I'll take a shot in front of it and then see what happens. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's barcoding right now. Certainly, I could be in it at 95. A lot of times I want it to spike up, give me like 97, 98, something along those lines. If that happens, great. If I don't get it, we'll have to walk away and then not take the short, which is perfectly fine. I'm willing to miss the trade so that I can follow my rules. Lucid, which was so good all morning long. You know, I definitely could have taken this out at 46. Instead, I wanted to see if it could hold to retest the high. So that dip buy is essentially going to be a flat trade. Like, we'll scalp like 30, 40 cents out of it and then lose 30, 40 cents on the back end. So Lucid might be a bit done here as I hold on to only the trade desk now, which is pulling back in. That could be a reload for me. Obviously, I still am pretty bullish on this up to that 90 point. Scalps them out there on that 85.50 break up to 87.50. If it pulls back to 85, I like that for a reload on the trade desk while we send you to Brendan for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, a little bit of a quiet morning on the small cap front compared to what we've been dealing with the past couple of weeks, especially last week. So many opportunities. PTRA was one that was up in the pre-market here. If you go out to the daily time frame, 1250 was a bit of a level. It tagged a couple of times, got rejected off this on this downtrend. So this one did get above that level. So I took a short right at the open immediately out of that and actually flipped long. So the long ends up being a decent trade into 13. There's a seller at 1320, 1310 to 1320, definite resistance. We get back below 1250 again. So I got back into this. I'm going to hold this now, see if we can't get 12 and then 1050 on the way down for PTRA. The other one, AUTL, quick short off the open here. There was a buyer at the bottom end of this range from the pre-market that was just accumulating shares. So I tried it again up here, 740, got out immediately. I'm still long on this one as well. So AUTL looking like it might want to test the highs along with PPSI. Neil, back over to you.
Yeah, both those names are on all over my radar here. At least, I mean, definitely I've been trading PPSI, but AUTL is certainly one that could make that bit of a break. Tesla coming right back up. It looks like this could be the time that it makes that test. Now, I am sitting here trying to catch some like 97s or so. If I get them, certainly you'll see that pop in for me there. And then we just came back on the trade desk. I didn't get a dip. I wanted 85s. You can see it actually came back to 85.70 and is managing to hold those levels. Essentially where I'm long on that breakout of that previous high. If it does come to 85, then we're going to get that reload. PPSI, which was on the radar for me for another potential break, it was on the radar for a halt up. It has done one halt that I missed. Now I'm looking to see if it could have done it again. You see it pulling back here, so no trade on that one. As we go back to that AUTL, I still think this one as well. I have my stop for a top break, but I like 8. As opposed to the 790 breaks. I want to break 8 even before I got into that long on AUTL. So just the trade desk that I happen to be in. There was one other name that we talked about. I'm gonna go back here because anyone looking at McAfee, yes, the deal got done. This is what's happening. Absolutely nothing. It's a 26 cash deal, and this is why, unless you're spread trading, nothing to be seen here, guys. And I don't know if we mentioned it right at the open. By the way, we're going all day today. The show's going all day. We're going to go to Memes and Movers at 11 o'clock, and then we come back at 2. It's going to be an awesome one, guys. I'm excited to do it. I know Brendan has a lot planned for us. And a few surprises, I think, that I guess we'll leave for a little bit later. But Brendan's done a fantastic job sort of planning out what we're going to do for that hour. In addition to just trading, it'll be more than just trading.
Yep, us going back at 2 p.m. has everything to do with Brendan, guys. So thank you to Brendan. We can't give him enough credit for that. So thank you so much, Brendan, for that. We're really excited to have that back for you. And I know you guys are as well, as we'll go from here right to Memes and Movers, and then Memes and Movers back to us at 2 p.m. So Prad taking the reins on that show, and it's been absolutely fantastic. We did average in a little bit here to this play for the trade desk at 46. So we'll see if we're going to get some love back on this name, but right here at the trade desk, just to see, man, we're long at 86.67 right now. So not a fantastic long, but not one that we were too hard about. If it comes back down, same levels Neil talked about, 85, a level of concern there for me. But I did want to take a piece out here. If we get to 86.50, just to reward ourselves a little bit for that average in, and then we'll try to ball out here if it does start to go back up to the high side there. Peloton looks like, man, I mean, I'm just still in this trade. Do I love it? No. But, it just keeps on. We were just there again, man. 51.10. I just don't want to get out of it at that level. So hopefully we could take out that 51.10. We sort of identified a spot that's strong on Peloton. It's bounced off there a couple times right now. I'm willing to hold this, obviously, all the way to a 50 break, which is what we're looking for. But right now, Peloton, a little stronger here than maybe a lot of people thought, as it's been holding out for 50. But you're still down that 9%, and everyone's waiting for the same damn thing to break. So, yeah, I'm not super excited about it, because when 50 does come close, people are piling into this, and that probably breaks with fury down to the downside there. So we'll wait to see what happens, just hoping that it takes out this 51.10 first before it takes out 50. So, yeah, downside moves here on Peloton. Not super excited, but also, I think that's pretty good that it's holding up.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it holds, I think there's going to be some buyers in front of it. That AUTL, I mean, that breakout that we're looking for, obviously, you can see that's not going to happen. That's why I like the break as opposed to getting in that long, because the downside is just, you're essentially 15 to 20 cents to resistance, and then, support is way down here at VWAP. So that could turn into a bit of a short play if it does hold these levels. That's a capitulation candle if I ever saw one. The break on a hold for that particular name. And thank you guys for the super chats. The Monkey Shine, I know you're the best. You guys are the best. The reason we're going longer is because you guys support the show. Let's be real about it, right? You guys kept asking for it, and you get all the love, and you were so great supporting Memes and Movers that, hey, we're finding a way to bring you all-day content, so stick around. It's going to be a wild day. It's going to be a wild week. I did say it's Rivian week. That's just because the IPO is coming. It doesn't mean it's going to dominate the market. I mean, certainly Tesla, more than likely to be a bigger name and bigger player for this week than Rivian. Is just, we've been waiting for this IPO, it seems like forever. That's the only reason I said that there, Mike. Tesla, if this is the turn, look, here's the thing. If it breaks 1185 here, and this is my order here waiting for the offer in front of 1200, that means I missed the curl, and I should have taken it at 95, 96. And once I've missed that opportunity, I go ahead, I got to cancel that order, because if it comes the second time, you don't want it the second time, man. If it comes up, it's breaking, and that's usually the way that it goes. So, I missed that pullback trade. It gave you $10 there if you got 96s. I was waiting a little tighter, that $1,200 mark. Unfortunately, I'm not going to catch that trade. It is what it is. I am looking at Peloton the same way Sean is. Now, a 50 breakdown on the daily chart, there's not a heck of a lot below that price. But you get a double bottom hold, and then a double bottom hold, and then a break back up. I think that's a long worth taking. But I got to play this in both directions. If 50 breaks on Peloton, I almost got to think about a short. It should be, at least I think it will be, short sell restricted at that point. If not already, I should check that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be short sell restricted. So catching a break at 50 isn't a given. You need an uptick, but you throw the order out and hope to get a fill when 50 breaks. Covering a long SSR is not a problem. It's just trying to get the short when 50 breaks can be an issue.
Yeah, I'm just refreshing here, just to give you guys some ideas here. We are looking at a flat break on Nike to get out. If it breaks through 171.40, where we're long at, then we'll get out. But for right now, this is in the money, 30 cents, and we've already taken a nice trade for me on that name anyways. So far, so good. So we'll see. Hopefully it can come back in, back up to these levels. And if it does, then obviously we'll cash them out. Neil just talked about Peloton there. We did take out some of our trade desk spot there. So hopefully that can be a name that we can get back into at some point to the upside. We take this out 87.50. I don't even mind going longer on that takeout right up there. So, hey, we do have an offer to get out of some. And then if we take out 87.50 on the trade desk, then we'll like that even more to the upside. But here comes Peloton. We can watch this together. together. It's going to break 50. I mean, as long as my order is out there, which it is, we'll break through 50, then we'll get out on the downside. Hopefully it doesn't crack too low, but this is kind of expected there. We bounced off too many times at this 51, so here comes Peloton right back down into the downside. Give it to him, Brendan.
There was an uptick there, guys, on Bitcoin, BTC back to the upside there. So a lot of these crypto-related stocks just popping up on volume. BITF, one of those. You can look at Riot, you can look at Mara, all looking very similar here. Heads up on some of the crypto-related stocks. Having a nice day. That didn't work, Lucas, at all. Yeah, here's me planning with Lucas to have this big fancy graphic to promote the 2 p.m. start, and then Neil and Sean stealing my thunder, as always. Yeah, guys, 2 p.m. We're so excited to come back all day, every day, starting today. Join us at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, guys.
I got excited about it. I was like, we hadn't talked about it. I knew you guys were going to want to hear it. And then that's Neil. As usual, like spoiling the surprise. Look, we're just happy to do it, obviously, as you can hear. And we're happy to bring you some obviously interesting content. One thing that I'm like 99.999 like repeating to infinity certain about is that my homie over there, Trader Pratt, better have actually had this Airbnb break, because I heard some celebrations over this one, so I'm kind of hoping this happened. But a big mover up now, 2.5%. That's pulling back in, so I hope you caught that one, Trader Pratt. Peloton just broke, so I just got into that short.
Ooh.
On a break, I got 49.91, then it immediately comes back.
Yeah.
I kind of feel I have to give it to 50-50, just because, I mean, on the daily chart, there's so much room. I mean, on the daily, it's like, forget about it. Like, you get all the way down to like 38. You're thinking about like this 43 level. There's not a heck of a lot down here. You start thinking 47.50, 45. Who knows where this thing is going to bottom out? So you got to be willing to give it at least something on the breakdown. But I don't like break trades that don't move right away. So ultimately, I am looking for this thing to probably go, in the next minute or two. And if it doesn't, I got to think about getting it out rather quickly. So, Peloton, we'll see what happens here. I got 90, so not a ton of slippage. It was plenty of liquidity to grab that short after all. Brendan?
I'm just telling Lucas to have that up. It's fine. CGC, guys, on a day high alert here. Big volume coming back into CGC as well. So, I mean, we talked about Cron, Tilray, all of them. Looking about the same. A lot of positivity in cannabis so far today. It's 11:30 now, officially 1 hour or under 1 hour to go over in Europe. Miss V, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are flat. Cybersecurity company Darktrace, trading in London, is up more than 12% after Berenberg reiterated its buy recommendations on the stock. Back to you.
I don't know why these time changes aren't on the same day all the time. They had theirs 2 weeks ago, I want to say, and now we finally catch up, guys. So, yeah, 1 hour to go over in Europe.
Figure this out.
Yeah,
so first of all,
talked about that.
Apologies, because I said this morning that I actually thought that this was the last time we were doing daylight savings times. Apparently, that's not true. It's just something they keep talking about but never actually doing. Peloton keeps thinking about but not actually falling further than this 50 even. Well, I don't know if it's gonna.
I don't know either.
The stock doesn't actually think about it, but the market thinks about holding it up. This PPSI, even though AUTL had a capitulation, PPSI is still holding above VWAP, so I'm not doing anything with it. I've taken a couple of breakouts and not done well with them. So I had a small win, a loss, then a loss, and then actually a good win that we got all of it out. But then the shorts have been disastrous. So I'm thinking about only the long side of this trade, at least until it, if it breaks 6 even, that's a different story downside. But I'm still looking for that push, and it could be the afternoon. Maybe we're waiting until, like 1, 2 o'clock, or 12, maybe even 3 for the break on PPSI. I just feel like it's holding up pretty well, at least for now. Brendan?
We mentioned this one way back when they announced the actual SPAC deal, but today's the first day for Kind, guys, which is next door, that neighborly social media stock. Today's the first day for Kind after de-SPACing. Huge move already, 31%. We've been a lot higher than that. It's been halted a few times as well.
De-SPACing, love that. Yeah, so I actually went short Peloton as well here, and we're just going to give it to 50.25s, see if we can't make back a little bit there of what we lost on the long. It just needs to go down a little bit here to make that back. We did put on, a decent position now to the short side. We could get blown out twice. I mean, I think 50 long is good, but I mean, doesn't matter what we think here. We'll just wait on the market. I mean, we're trying to trade off price action now. I mean, I don't I don't know if this is going to be like a good long-term short for anybody right now, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it's taking out 50.25. I mean, that's going to be where we get out here. We'll see if it absorbs it. Yeah, nah, it doesn't want. I don't think it wants to go down here. So we'll wait to see if we can get that fill. Hopefully we do get it to the lower side here. But if it just ticks up past 50 quarters, we don't want that, because I still think the real short should have been, like, we should have identified a little bit better up here. Some of this concern at 51 where we were long, and we were long at 51. This could have not even been a hit. So I feel a little silly on that one, because like I just mentioned there, we should not have even been out of that. Well, we should have been out here and then re-gone with the short, especially when we don't get that break of 51.10. So a little bit of a lesson learned, but it's not going to be a very expensive one. It's just, that was something that we should have looked at. Try to get it broken. Now we'll wait to see 49.50 at first target, and then we'll see if we crack through 49. I still think this is overdone to the downside.
So I see you there. It's Omar there, one of our members, saying PaySafe may be good for a short now. So here's why I'm not shorting PaySafe. And look, setups are there all the time. This is it breaking essentially the 50 period right now. Tight consolidation, although this time it's trying to hold a higher low on this break. So the momentum is pretty strong. It is a pretty somewhat orderly move to the upside here. It hasn't broken parabolic. If it takes out goes really parabolic or a failed break, that makes a little bit more sense to me. I mean, it's just not one of those names that I think is yet overextended, so that's usually what you're looking for. I'm still holding on. I mean, Peloton is doing nothing now, but the longer it takes to bounce back upside, the more confident I get in this momentum short. Tesla does feel like it was that one chance you had at that 1,200 short opportunity. Now it's starting to come back in off 1185. I don't like, even if it breaks this level and goes to VWAP, that's 1-to-1, like 85 down to 70, and then up to 12 even. That's a 1-to-1 trade, which I'm not taking to the sell side on Tesla. It doesn't make any sense. You had to have it at 96, and unfortunately I did not. So I'm going to have missed out on that trade. The trade desk is getting close to a spot that I like that reload. It bounced off 85 here. If we can catch any consolidation, I think we got ourselves a nice reload back through that previous, I guess was a previous high, which was at 85.60 or so. So once we bounce without breaking 85, I'll reload that long. Just hasn't happened yet. And this is a time of day where when I'm reloading or getting into position, you don't have to chase. You don't have to get in too early. Usually if it's going to give you a price, it's going to sit around for a little bit. So showing some patience here on the trade desk, because it didn't exactly run in the money at $1.50 rapidly. Like, that actually took in half an hour to get up there. So I want to make sure the consolidation, we give it some time to make sure it's putting in the bottom.
Yeah, AMC moving as well off. I mean, it's not moving like crazy, but you're up to $43 here. Is a level that we talked about, for possible, breakout one more time. I mean, AMC is sort of already breaking out, but you guys know that the 2.25% is nothing. So we do expect a little bit more from that. So maybe a 43 break gets us to like 43.50, 44, which isn't a horrible spot, to get some return there for AMC. We still are waiting for this to dip back into 41 and change. It doesn't look like that's coming through at all. Peloton still doing a dance, man. I still think that comes to the downside. Nike, we got out there, but just we didn't want to give it all back. Well, not all back. We weren't going to do that. We gave none of it back. As Nike, a big stock for me today for sure. Nike, and then I can't believe Tesla. Like, as if we have that long there. We did get out of some. We talked about that, but still my number one stock from the day is still Tesla, as we got out for that $30-something winner there. Long at 1140, out at 70, so exactly $30 there. UiPath, not really doing too much. I wish it was doing the QS move there, up another 9%. We did switch out of some Ford, which is pretty good. We got some UiPath at 53. So now the fact that this is up a couple bucks makes it nice. But we've been up even higher, man. We almost touched $60 on UiPath not too long ago. Was it on Friday or Thursday? We touched 59. So now coming back in here, this is another one of those automation names, data and everything. So it's one of those Cathie Wood ARC buys that she keeps on touting. So we'll see if that can continue to move to the upside. Not too much love today other than this first trade for me on FSEL. So we should have looked at Lucid more. I can see, wow, Hive blockchain up 9% as well as Bitcoin now 66, Ethereum 4760. FSEL here 1040, 1050 for a nice little spot there. We'll see if we can take out the high. This is the only trade we have on this name. So far, so good today on FSEL.
And speaking of Lucid and some of the high flyers today, comes all the way back right to that. Ignore these wicks. I mean, this opening range here was about a 43.40-ish bottom, and that's exactly the wick that it put in. I think you gotta think about the long being wrong here at about 42 3/4, so 42.75, I should say. I don't know why I always say 3/4. Anyways, if it gets down maybe like 20 or 30 cents lower consolidates, I think you have a nice little bottom. PPSI, I said it's not a short until it breaks this, retakes this hull price. Here comes VWAP. Here comes that previous hull price at 644 into play. So if it takes that out, now I'll think about getting back into some of the shorts. It just felt like to all the world, this is going to be a super strong one. The bid is held up now pretty nicely on the trade desk. So if it can catch a reload, I'm going to go ahead and try to do that in front of 85.50 or so. While we send you to, I mean, I'm looking at the NASDAQ down, but what seems like a pretty solid looking sector watch board there. A little surprised.
Just barely hanging on to positive territory, guys. We are still just 0.07 right now, still in positive territory, but only just. A lot of things on this board to make note of. Material stocks, very strong. A lot of that's going to be steel related, FCX. There's NUE as well, we mentioned a couple of times. But this entire group nicely higher on the day, along with energy as well. We haven't really talked about energy today, but oil bouncing back. Oxy, HES, Apache, and SLB leading the way for energy shares. Caterpillar, 4%. I can't remember the last time we saw Caterpillar up 4%. I saw Deere. There it is, 2.5% as well. Having a nice day. We talked about those in the pre-market. So industrials nicely higher. All of the airlines as well in positive territory as the border reopened today. A lot of people heading down to the south for the winter. From this country. Ford here, GM as well, 5.4% for Ford, GM 2.7% in the consumer discretionary group. Some of the retailers, though, lagging a little bit other than Etsy. Remember, big report for Etsy last week, 2.5% now for Tesla there as well. APTV, 1.7% to the downside. Tech stocks are also higher, led by the chip makers. So it's a bit of a mixed story. Communication services also to the downside, along with real estate stocks. So a bit of a mixed story, leaving the market almost exactly flat, guys. 0.04 for the S&P. Back over to you.
All righty. So while that was happening, we'll start reading some freaking registers finally on Peloton because we went short and we took the exact same amount of shares there. So now we're starting to get back to Greensville here on Peloton, especially if we do get that dump back in, man. We just took some out in the 60s. We're dumping now through 50 right here. So hopefully Peloton can dump through this 50. We're waiting for a bid at 40 and then we'll see where we go. So far so good anyways on Peloton on the downside. We did reload some Nike shares right here at the bottom and then took some out at 70, 71. So hopefully we can go back up. That's just a quick dime there as it just ripped. We were long at 80s, I believe it was. Yeah, Nike 170, 80, now up to 70, 96, 97 there. So more money, more problems for us on NKE there. And we'll just wait now to see where we go. Hopefully the market can come back up. Brendan just reviewed some of that. The NASDAQ just went red about 10 minutes ago. So the ES looking for the same fate right now. Hopefully that can come back in.
Yeah, I mean, we'd like to come back to positive territory. I just took out some Peloton as well at 49.50. I see you guys in the chat, and they're like, Canadians racing to Florida. Canadians are not going to recognize South Florida. I'll ask my mom when she gets back. My mom is actually in Florida, like right now. So I'm kind of curious. I'm not sure exactly what you guys mean, like they won't recognize it, but certainly curious. Canadians absolutely love South Florida, if anyone that doesn't know that. Lots of travel there. This kind, by the way, I kind of wish that we had this one to the long side. Always, always, always monitor that hull board if you trade these types of names. I was not looking at the hull page nearly enough today because if you look at the second halt here and that rejection through 18 even, that's like the gorgeous setup. Now, if you missed it, you missed it. You know, it is what it is. Like you can't come back and sort of rewind time. But I got to monitor that page a little bit better today. Lots of action happening. Now, I did try to get some shares here on the reload and the trade desk. You're going to see me miss out on the opportunity. It's retesting that high. And then puts in a double top at 87.50. I'll probably look for the same reload at 85 even. Otherwise, just hold the shares we have for that eventually $90 target that we've been looking for all morning long. And that PPSI did make that break. So it broke VWAP, broke the hull price. Now in this consolidation, going to work into a short. If it reclaims 662, I just get out. Otherwise, I think this is one of those, if it doesn't break 662, I'm holding it at least for 550 certainly maybe even for the rest of the day in that particular regard. For those of you that are following Tesla, two things. One, I'm kind of curious what Ms. V did with that one. So when we go to Memes and Movers in 15 minutes, I will be attentively listening to see what she did. I didn't get that 1200, is now bouncing off of 1180. I didn't like that 1185 short. I think it wouldn't make a lot of sense, risk to reward. But if it comes up here and puts in a lower high, certainly gives you a second crack at 1200, which I don't like the second time through. I think I'd rather play it for a break of 1200, if anything, at this point.
So we're just, we just put some, we're going to watch out for Tesla. I can believe I dumped it. I mean, I saw $30 and I took it, but we often make those mistakes. Okay, not a mistake, but Nike, nice little move to the upside again, man. We're taking out 20 cents. We just took out 111.07 or 171.07 there for 27 cents. So I think we're getting close to being happy right now with some of these trades. So, let's just wait to see where we go from here on this. But right now, Nike, we can protect the bottom. We're almost out of it all right now. We only have that 20% left on Nike there as the trade desk rock and rolls right back upside now. So, a target, I still think we can break that high as Google just made new all-time highs. So for me, that means this. So let's hopefully get the same kind of trade here off on trade desk. It just broke through 87, man. We're long at 86.39. We'll see if we can't take a piece out up here. Last time we made the mistake of not getting any out at 87.50. So there it is. We're sitting right there at 08. It's missing us. Hopefully it prints through. Well, I thought I was at 08. Oh no, I'm at 11. Oh God. I just hit offer enter there, and I guess it was at 11. So hopefully, it just misses. It went to 10 again. So hopefully we get run over there. Just one little move up here on TTD, and we'll get out of hopefully what is another successful trade for us. FSL 80 cents in the money and at day's high. Nike 40 cents now in the money. Good trade there. Peloton 30 cents in the money. Hopefully making our money back if we break through 50. That'll be good. And then Trade Desk 60 cents now in the money. So all is well now. But and then Tesla, of course, we had the $30 winner bottom to top there. Unfortunately, we got some out for a $5 hit, but we talked about that when that happened. And then it just took off on us. So some nice bottoms there for Tesla, and also staring at 11.95. Not a bad short if you can get it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens if it gets back up to that price. I mean, I went over Trade Desk a little bit there, but I think this Vino stock, I think Brendan might have mentioned this one, I'll put it in the chat at least, starting to run out of steam. It does feel to me like if it makes another push at this 440, 450, it's going to be more of a short than anything else, given how low the volume is. At this time of day, when things break to the top, always look to see if it has corresponding volume with it, because that's going to be the important factor, at least in my opinion. Might have been a reload opportunity in Peloton, but when you're short this low, I don't think I want to be loading back into it unless it's on the way down. It needs to reject 50 before I would even consider going into a reload. And Moderna, which I did say, it was probably the most exciting. Well, it was probably one of the most exciting stocks to trade last week. Today, I think there's a fade if it got to 250. You're kind of seeing it do a heck of a lot of nothing. So it might be an afternoon type of play for Moderna. It's kind of getting off my radar at this point.
And you guys, what's been off my radar a little bit, but we'll hit the old school floss for this. If Russell, if you're around, he always likes the old school floss. I don't see him there today. But there it is, man. Palantir, hells to the yeah. Again, on the sticky note as this level break right there, 26.30. Unfortunately, we were too enamored with Tesla at that point. But normally I have the buy in there, and I guess I didn't, man. I mean, it's on our sticky note. You've seen a great couple days, great week and a half here for Peloton, as Peloton going back to the downside. Palantir here, 23.80, man, back in October 15th, nicely up to 27, and really just looking to break out. I mean, we've been buying this name on any dip. It's one of my favorites. You see, we even have the hat here. Thank you to Trader Prad for that hat. Palantir investor as we go, just keeps on motoring to the upside here. What I believe is a long-term play seems to be working out nicely for us right now, up to 27. Our last couple buys, we've talked about that, into 23, and then our average price is still 16 or 17 on this name, so that's pretty good. PayPal still having a problem at 230 right now. AMD, I mean, another darling that we've been touting for you guys for a very, very long time, man. This name just continues to work, trying to get back to highs. We tried to get into some dips, but unfortunately we tried down here and sort of ignored it. But look at that right back to VWAP. It's only 1050 right now, and the market is flat. And there's been a lot of movement on a lot of names, man. Palantir 4%, AMD 4%, Ford, hell yeah on Ford, man. I mean, and again, hopefully you guys can follow me at Trader TV Sean. We've been talking about a lot of these names. I just hope that you've gotten them with us, man. Ford continues to make moves to the upside. 2027 on what's, Rivian week, a good one. I think that's right, man. Rivian's going to come with a monster, 60 billion. I believe they probably get printed out at 90 billion, which is huge for them. Huge for Fisker, huge for Ford, huge for Amazon, huge for the EV space in general. I mean, here we go, man. Fisker was touching near 20 today. Nice little dip down. I think you could buy Fisker on Rivian. But again, a nice move to the upside. Riot Blockchain as well making moves on new highs for Bitcoin.
All these are making highs, right? So you say
Hut 8.
Hut 8's making a high, double
Hut 8.
top on Coinbase right now at 355. That's like 20 cents away from a break. So
Coinbase.
I mean, coin making a power move right now. It's just we start you start thinking about some of these levels, and if we break out from here on Coinbase, remember 380 and 381. That was where we opened up on that IPO. I mean, it shot up to 430, but keep in mind that price. If we get a sustained breakout from here, I mean, 380's got to be a level you consider ringing the register on that bad boy. It's got to go a heck of a lot further than this, but a 355 break, I'll take it, and we'll send you guys, speaking of crypto, to Brendan for Money Talks.
Go, Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, all about cryptocurrencies. I threw up Ethereum today. We haven't looked at that for a while. All-time highs over there on, that's a hourly chart for Ethereum. So you can see it having a nice day, 7.3%. Bitcoin, 9%, not quite there yet, 67,000, remember. We're at 66.5 basically for Bitcoin. So cryptocurrencies leading a whole bunch of stocks as well to the upside as we've been mentioning. So all about these today. I threw up this headline here. It's tough to see, but they're still talking about some rate increases over in the UK, Bank of England. So 0.6 here for the pound, 135 and change. That is still near a 5-week low versus the dollar, which is down today. Worth noting, 94 flat. The rest of these a little bit higher as a result, but hard to avoid some crypto action on a Monday, guys.
Yeah, it really is. Just got the break. I mean, what's a 355.10 on Coinbase? So I just got the break.
We were just talking about it being a trap. I mean, I think as long as crypto keeps going higher. No, but I'm with you. I mean, it seems like on the chart, you've talked about, I don't have Coinbase, I have Riot up right now. But if you look at it, a daily chart here for Coinbase, man, we're all the way back. And man, did we ever like this name for a very, very long time. Let me just find the daily chart here for you guys quickly. We've been talking about Coinbase for a long time here as possible buys. Ooh, that's a 1-minute chart. Come on, that's a 20-minute chart. I'll find the daily chart in a minute here. As right here, right back into these levels. So watch out for 350, 360. I mean, if you're a buyer like we've been here on Coinbase for a bit, you may want to, and I don't think it's, you may not want to cash out some, but I think this may be worth it right now, getting out a little bit here on Coinbase. Again, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know where are their earnings. I mean, I think we haven't had them this earnings season, and I haven't really seen them too much talk about earnings for them coming up. I don't know if it's this week or next, but you might just want to watch out on here. When crypto goes to the upside, I feel like there's less buying on some of these spots, right? They're going to make a lot of money from Dogecoin. They did list Shiba Inu. So there is possibilities here, obviously, for Coinbase. It's just, I wonder how much of the buying is on the big guys versus some of these littler coins that they've recently listed. So we'll wait to hear what they do on, because I just know that Dogecoin lifted Robinhood. We've already talked about that story. So I kind of just think did that also, which it did play effect in Coinbase the first time around. What about this time? There hasn't been too much altcoin love besides Shiba Inu, but they were a little bit late. They only listed Shiba Inu about 3 weeks ago, I want to say. So those earnings probably won't be in their report. So, well, it will be, but I don't know the effect. Yeah, the effect there. So we'll wait to see on Coinbase. But again, a great trade for anybody been long that name. And I may ring the register. I'm going to find out what percentage of the portfolio there. By the way, Peloton trying to make new lows here. I don't know.
And someone asked about OLB. A couple of things. Well, Fisker, we see a 15.5% short interest, but those are all estimates. So if you see 29, just understand it's not exactly a science getting those estimates there. This OLB, which was a bit of a mover if you look at last week, making some moves. It just broke the high of the day, but why would I? Why? Well, I'm not really that interested in it until it gets to about 750, Friday's high. It had a harsh rejection of an $8 break if you go back to Thursday. So some obvious areas of resistance that are going to get put in here on this OLB, and that's why I think as it got off the bottom here on volume, you might want to actually. I'd back off from buying these highs. The volume's tapering off there, and it has hard resistance at that top. Coinbase, it's not to say that it's a trap. I mean, why I'm saying it's a trap is you get everything at the high at the same time, and you think if a reverse is hard, it could be ugly, but you got 350 as support. It's really just barcoding here off a 355 break. I got an offer in front of 57, so I want to hang on to this one, see if I can't continue this push. Will I be looking at spot prices? Of course. Right, like if we get back down towards 65,000 in Bitcoin, well, then maybe this isn't going to work out for me in Coinbase. But until that happens, I like this breakout long. Trade Desk is getting close to that target. We're up at like 88, so looking for $90 was the target that we set earlier. 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes to go here, Brendo.
We mentioned a few of them already, guys. Let's make it official. Here's what's coming tonight and before the open tomorrow. 4 earnings.
Lemonade, that cool, refreshing drink.
Yep, Neil's loving lemonade as shareholder of lemonade, right? So you also love the drink.
They're not going to have much earnings because, they don't make they don't make any money.
Well, we'll see. Palantir there, Palantir November, I guess it was the 9th. Okay, that's good. I thought it was the 10th. We had gone back and forth, so that's good to see that that's been confirmed there. Smile Direct, you smile, I smile, we smile. PayPal, holy crap. Roblox, AMC, Clover, Jesus. I may not be able to sleep tonight, guys. So this is going to be a big one here to go. Also in fantasy, so we're playing my buddy Zane here, and he may put up the largest amount, and I might put up the second, which sucks when that happens. But I have Najee Harris and Deontay going, and I need to make up about 30 points. And
it could happen.
Yeah, he has Herbert and...
no, Herbert won last night.
No, he didn't. No, not Justin.
Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert, the back, which I'm hoping that my boy, Montgomery, can come back today and squash Herbert's value. So hopefully that comes through. And then he has one more player, but I have no idea who it is. I can't remember.
I'm just lucky to actually go. We played 2 matchups a week. I'm going to get to go 2-0 despite Mahomes and Allen being my quarterbacks. Both of them absolutely stunk it up. When you can win when your stud quarterbacks are garbage, that's a good sign. One more, Brendan. What do you got?
So in another case of possible earnings roulette, we'll talk about Coinbase here, guys. I can show you coin on the Refinitiv icon system. Typically where the date shows up is right here underneath this little calendar they have. And you can see there's absolutely nothing there. So NASDAQ.com has coin earnings November 9th as well. So, I mean, I'll present you some information. We'll see what actually happens tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, look, realistically, for most of us, you always say, I
feel like this is the best earnings date. Honestly, I mean, I think there's more influential ones with Apple, Microsoft, Google, all that. But like some for us and for what you guys trade and for what we trade, I mean,
because they'll move more.
Even if we show that board again, I mean, what was on there? There was absolutely everything. Clover was on there that we know can move.
I thought Virgin Galactic should have been there, but
Virgin Galactic may be on there. PayPal on there as well. I mean, there's lots and lots and lots happening, guys. So, don't worry, Daryl. David Montgomery, let's see if he comes back. If not, Herbert's going to be there. And I can't remember. There's one other guy. I basically need to make up 30 points, the difference between his guys. But, I wish I would have played you this week, Neil, but you are the defending champ. So it's been
ain't going that well.
Rough ride this year.
Ain't going that well.
Yeah, but hold on.
Thanks, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, before we go here, I just want to see who the hell he has tonight. So hold on a second before we go. Oh, no, it's not Justin Fields. I wish. Oh, it's Allen Robinson. Possible. He's a stud, but not on that team right now. So we'll hopefully. Look, I'm trying to be. I want to. If I can win, I can jump to second place.
He's an immensely talented player.
Exactly. That's what I'm
all kinds of trouble in that.
Anyway,
offense.
this is fantasy sports. So we are back, guys. So it's going to go from here to memes and movies, and they're going to kill it like they always do. And then Prad's going to take that to 2 p.m. with V Money, Miss V, and then we'll be back at 2 p.m. again. So if you miss us, it's not for long.
And some surprises for that show, by the way. When we come
Apparently,
back
there's some surprises. I'm very, very excited for said surprises as well.
Yeah,
100%. Who are we getting ready to? Oh, yeah, what kind of
I don't know what national day it is.
Yeah,
here.
what day is it here,
Let's go,
Miss V?
Thank you guys, and hey team, I hope your Monday is going wonderful so far. And please make sure you like this video because today is the first day when we are running live for the whole trading day from 8:30 a.m. until 4 p.m. So we absolutely deserve your like. And of course, join me and Prad to keep trading until 2 p.m. Right after this show, and happy National Cappuccino Day, everyone.
Yep.
Oh.
I get behind that. Maybe I'll go right after this and go get said cappuccino because, yeah, we're going to need lots of energy because we are back at 2 p.m. And we do have a nice little graphic. Did we even hit that graphic yet there, Brendan? I know there was one all locked and loaded.
We can.
Do
Lucas, it. Or can I actually do it? Maybe. Let's do it. Here we go. There it is, official. 2 to 4 for the market close shows.
Wait a second, that's the graphic?
I mean, it now says 2 instead of 3, right? So,
man,
that's what.
It took a lot of hard work.
How original that graphic, guys. Congratulations to Rob. Very, very creative there, Rob, our graphic man. Really outdoing himself there with that. So big announcement there. Thought it could at least have Brendan's face on it, you know.
Well, we can put Brendan's face up anytime we want.
We should, yeah. Let's do that pop. Where is it?
There
it is. Yeah.
And from that,
he's very, very excited to be back at 2 p.m. Of course. So.
He is actually. I know Brendan's psyched
we all are
because there's a lot of good content that we're going to try to bring to you guys every single day, and especially on that show. But you know what we got to do? We got to get our ugly mugs out of here and send you on over to Trader Pratt and Ms. V for memes and movers. Hit it.
Hey yo, it is memes and movers time, November 8th. Welcome back. It is Monday. I'm Trader Pratt. Just me, the beautiful Ms. V to my right.
Thank you, Brad. And guys, thank you very much for joining us today. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and of course, smash the like button. It's the start of the new week. I hope you're all doing great. And again, today is the first day when we stream